I don't trust people anymore, not because I hate them, but because every single fucking hand I held eventually dropped me. I showed up when it was uncomfortable, when it was heavy, when nobody else wanted the responsibility. I stayed loyal, stayed patient, stayed silent, and still got left like my effort never mattered. People love you when you're useful, but the second you need them, they vanish without explanation. Look at me, that shit changes you, because you realize trust isn't rare, consistency is. I didn't become guarded for no reason. I became guarded after being dropped too many fucking times. Every promise that broke, every silence that followed, taught me exactly how people really move. So if I don't trust people anymore, understand, this isn't bitterness, it's survival.
Fire doesn't ask permission. That's the first lie we tell ourselves. We pretend it waits for an invitation, for timing, for consent from logic. It doesn't. It arrives when it wants to, quiet at first. Like warmth you don't notice until you're already leaning toward it. Nobody teaches you how desire actually shows up. They sell it as romance, as chemistry, as fate. But fire isn't sentimental. Fire is curious. It wants to know how close you'll stand before you remember you can get burned. I've seen it start in rooms that looked harmless, low light, music moving slow enough to feel safe. A voice that doesn't raise itself, a presence that doesn't rush. That's how it gets you. Not with force, with patience. Fire studies you, learns your rhythms, listens to how you breathe when you're relaxed, watches which parts of yourself you leave unguarded, because you're tired of being vigilant. That's when it steps closer. Nobody warns you that desire feels intelligent, that it adapts, that it mirrors. You think you're choosing it, but really, it's responding. You laugh a little longer than usual. You stay when you could leave. You explain yourself when no one asked. Small concessions. That's how heat enters the room. And it never announces itself as danger. It announces itself as possibility. Fire makes you feel seen without asking who's watching. It makes attention feel like oxygen. Suddenly the room feels dull without it. That's the trick. Because once fire becomes the atmosphere, you stop noticing the smoke. You tell yourself you're in control, that you can step back whenever you want, that you're not the kind of person who loses perspective. Fire loves that sentence. It feeds on certainty. It waits until your boundaries soften just enough to feel flexible instead of firm, until I don't usually becomes just this once. Fire doesn't cross lines. It invites you to redraw them. Closer, closer, little closer. And the moment you realize you're warm, you're already too close to call it accidental. This is where the story always begins. Not with harm, with heat. Not with violence, with curiosity. Not with chaos, with comfort. Fire doesn't ask permission, because it knows most people will step toward it willingly, as long as it doesn't look like fire yet. By the time you recognize it, you're already glowing, and the room is watching to see how long you'll pretend you're not burning.
Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your nighttime, right time DJ Music, and welcome to another episode of the Chop Shop. Yeah, we're gonna do a little something different today. I've been walking around and driving around the YouTube communities, as they say, the YouTube streets, and everybody who is somebody is talking about relationships, the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly. Seems like the ugly been taken over in these YouTube streets. Everybody and everybody's business. Everybody's talking about, as Aretha Franklin would say, who zooming who? Who's up in somebody else's boudoir, so to speak? Who's dating who? Who's loving somebody on the YouTube streets? Everybody wants to know. So I figured, like they do in politics, I'd throw my hat in the ring and talk about it a little bit with the help of the lovely Isabella. You can see it on the screen right there. She's a relationship expert. And I wanted to do a little deeper dive into some of the things that I've been seeing up off in these here YouTube streets this past couple of weeks. What's up there, OG Kick-Ass? How you doing, good brother? We're here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to all the good folks hanging out there in the clouds, wherever you're doing, tuning in from. Listen, like, share, and subscribe if you don't mind. I won't ask you for no money, but if you do decide to donate to the channel or whatever, I really do appreciate it. Or you can go over to Autism Speaks, look up DJ Music or Stevie Music, and make a donation to say, hey, I was over at my man's stream, like what he had to say. He said, hey, I should come over and donate to Autism Speaks. Really do appreciate it, folks. They do a lot of great things for those of us who have children or know someone that's afflicted with autism. Autism Speaks was one of the major folks to step out to advocate for the rights of people with autism. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight into it. Relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Again, I've been walking around here. You know, I'm thinking at my age, I've been through, as they say, the ringer. I've had some good relationships. I've had some bad relationships. I'm thinking I'm old enough now to give my perspective according to what this young lady's going to talk about. And the reason why I decided to use Isabella, because she was directly talking to men about women. Who better to teach you about a woman than another woman? The ins and outs, what y'all like, what y'all dislike. Who better to teach you? And especially with someone with a degree in it, not like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, in quotation marks. But, you know, this lady is legit. So let's see, where should we start? How about, let me take this off the screen right here. Not going to hang out with y'all long today. And for anyone that wants to come up a little bit later on and chop it up about it, you're more than welcome to. They say down in the lounge there and said, hey, hit me, let me get that link. I don't agree with you. Or, yeah, I do agree with you, but let me get that link into it. I'd be more than happy to let you on up and let's talk about some relationship things, all right? In the meantime, let's start right here.
Never say out loud, especially beautiful women. The way they experience attraction is often very different from the way men imagine it. Over the years,
Now, before Isabella gets started here, I'm just going to say, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I might find pretty or attractive, the next man may not. What I might find, as they tried to put it, beauty challenge, so to speak. Another man might find that my 5 is his 10, or his 10 is my 5. You never know. So beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Like the Temptation said, beauty's only skin deep. If you're going into a relationship just based on what that woman looks like or what that man looks like, to me, is doomed for failure, especially if you're looking for the long-term relationship. You're basing your relationship on, hey, damn, she pretty, or hey, damn, she got a nice body. I'm just saying. Come on, Isabella.
I've watched countless men make the exact same mistakes. Some were confident, successful, attractive, and financially stable, yet they still couldn't understand why certain relationships never worked the way they expected. Others believed that if they simply became more attractive, earned more money, or did everything right, they would finally become the one woman could never replace. But that's not how attraction works. One of the biggest misunderstandings men have is believing they can become the perfect man in a woman's eyes. The truth is, there is no such thing.
No such thing as perfect. No such thing as the perfect man. That's, to me, that's paramount in a relationship. If you think you are perfect, if you think you are right about everything, again, we're going to talk about them red flags a little bit later on. If you're in a relationship with a woman and she think her shit don't stink, excuse my French, you might be want to look for that front door.
No matter how attractive, successful, intelligent, or confident you are, there will always be another man somewhere who possesses a quality she finds appealing. He may be taller, he may have a different personality, he may be more adventurous, more charismatic, or...
Absolutely. Let's look at those things on the screen right quick. Like, he may be taller. Some women are attracted to tall men. But you have to understand something. Men over 6 feet is not the norm, folks. So that's a select group. You have some folks that are introverted. They don't speak well in public. They don't like to talk in public. And for the longest time, it took me a long time, even though I know you folks said, wait a minute now, you can't be the same Mr. DJ Music's always talking on the radio and all that. But you can go back in the history and find some people that knew me that would say, I can't believe this is the same guy that I knew from 15, 20 years ago. There's no way. Some men may be more adventurous, more charismatic. But I say to that, charisma in the wrong hands is a dangerous weapon, especially when it comes to relationships. That's a dangerous weapon. Well, let's go.
Simply represents something different. That doesn't automatically mean she loves you less or that your relationship is doomed. It simply means attraction is far more complex than most men realize. The mistake many men make is taking this personally. They become jealous, insecure, or obsessed with competing against every man who walks into the room. Ironically, that reaction often damages the relationship far more than another attractive man ever could.
Now, let me speak on that. I'll tell you what I've seen in the YouTube streets over the past 4 to 5 days. I really wasn't engaged in the conversation. I did watch it from the clouds, but I didn't really engage in the conversation. But I noticed what she just said. I can pinpoint that to the YouTube streets because everybody wants to know who's in somebody's business, who's dating who. Some people condemn people for wanting to get to know different folks. I don't see anything wrong with that. As they say, variety is the spice of life, but that don't necessarily mean you're laying down with them. You know what I mean? But some people think that they have to do it in a little underhanded and sneaky way. That's why I came up with that term, sneaky link. To me, if you got to hide a relationship that you're in with someone, it might not last very long. And I can understand wanting to keep your relationship private. That's one thing. But if you got a sneaky link and you're dealing with somebody else, chances are it was done in the dark, gonna come to the light.
Men who understand female psychology see things differently. They stop chasing perfection because they realize it doesn't exist. Instead, they focus on becoming the strongest version of themselves while accepting a truth that many people find uncomfortable. Attraction is not about eliminating every competitor. It's about building enough confidence that you no longer feel threatened by their existence. And once a man reaches that point, everything about the way he carries himself begins to change. Another thing many men miss.
Some people might call that arrogance, but I do believe that's confidence. Now, do some people take their confidence overboard? Of course they do, to where it becomes arrogance. But I don't think there's nothing wrong with a man being confident or comfortable in his own skin. And I think in my lifetime, I think women prefer that. If you're comfortable in your own skin, you're comfortable with who you are, you're comfortable with your station, whether it's, top tier, bottom tier, whatever. There's always room for improvement in every situation.
Understand is that women don't always want complete honesty in every situation. Before anyone misunderstands what I mean, I'm not encouraging men to become dishonest or manipulate people. Healthy relationships are built on trust. But there is a difference between being truthful and feeling the need to reveal every thought, every detail, and every insecurity simply because you believe honesty requires it. Many women already sense far more than men realize. They notice changes in your behavior, your tone of voice, your level of attention, and the way you carry yourself.
Yes, indeed, Isabella. We are creatures of habit. That's men and women. And if you're in a relationship with someone, I always say this, whether you're in a relationship, man, woman, or you're just in a business relationship with someone, all you have to be around someone is 30 days and you can figure out who and what they are. You can't hide yourself but for so long. If you're a nasty person, it's going to show eventually. In those 30 days, your personality is going to come up. If you're a good person, if you're an honest person, that personality will come through. It won't take somebody 30 days to figure that out. That's why I give everybody that I come in contact with, especially in my personal and professional life, I got 30 days of dealing with you. And in them 30 days, you're going to show me who you are. Especially if you are the object of my affection, you got 30 days. I'm going to figure out who you are. And if you're not good for me, I'm not going to continue past them 30 days. I'm going to figure out a reason, or you're going to figure out a reason to tell me, hey, this is not going to work. But some people don't know how to cross that. Dare I say, the coochie or the tallywhacker is too damn good for them to just simply walk away. But we're going to get to that too. Right there. That thing that they call women's intuition. Fellas, y'all better pay attention. Because they already know what you're doing before you do it sometimes. If she think you out there, tickling the feathers of somebody else, she's asking you to confirm your suspicions, confirm her suspicions. Some folks won't look. They'll just ask. Let you hang yourself. Both sides.
Female intuition isn't magic, but women often pay close attention to emotional and social cues that men tend to overlook. Because of that, many women don't necessarily want every uncomfortable truth spoken aloud. Sometimes what they want most is emotional security. Think about it this way. Imagine a woman constantly asking whether she's still attractive to you. She isn't always looking for a detailed analysis of every woman you've ever found beautiful. She's looking for reassurance that she matters. That emotional reassurance is often more important than hearing information that serves no real purpose, except creating unnecessary insecurity.
Absolutely, fellas. Let me tell you, don't ever, if your woman comes up to you, say, do I look fat in this dress? Or do you still love me if I was this or that? Your answer better not be, yeah, well, damn, you used to look like this. Or, oh, girl, down the street, you better say, baby, you're just as fine as the day I met you. Nothing going to change that. Guarantee you that'll put a smile on her face. Might even get you a nice thick steak. Dinner or something like that. Yeah, baby, you're just as fine as the day I met you.
This is where many men get confused. They believe being brutally honest means saying everything exactly as it comes into their mind. But maturity teaches something different. Not every thought needs to become a conversation. Not every observation needs to be shared. Wisdom is knowing the difference between honesty that strengthens a relationship and honesty that only creates unnecessary pain. The men who build the strongest relationships usually understand this balance. They communicate openly, but they also recognize that protecting trust sometimes means exercising restraint. They don't hide who they are, but they also don't mistake complete transparency for emotional intelligence. Those are two very different things, and understanding that difference changes the way many women experience a relationship. Something else I've noticed is that many men completely misunderstand how women think about status and value. This isn't always about money, fame, or expensive possessions. It's about how a man...
And Lord have mercy, isn't that what your boy Kevin Samuels was preaching to y'all fellas? You got to level up. You got to get that money. You got to become a six-figure dude before these women will deal with you. Your boy BGS told you, until you get your money up to go after that 10, you can go and practice on them 6s, 7s, and 8s. Excuse me, them 4, 5s, and 6s. That's what he said. You can go practice on them. This is the relationship advice that a whole lot of y'all take. Get your money up. And here you have a woman sitting in front of you right now, and she's fairly attractive, I will say. I think a lot of people would find this young lady attractive. It's telling you, it ain't your money sometimes. And I've told several of these dudes on these YouTube panels, lead with your wallet if you want to. See how long that'll last. When your money dry up, so will the loving. Lead with your wallet if you want to. And basically, all you doing is buying her affection. And once your money dries up, she gonna move on to the next six-figure dude that's willing to buy her affection.
Man carries himself and how other people respond to him. Women are naturally observant. They notice the respect a man receives, the confidence he projects, and whether people enjoy being around him. Those things communicate far more than many men realize. A man who is respected by others often appears more attractive because that respect suggests confidence and leadership. It's the same reason some men seem to effortlessly attract attention without constantly trying. They aren't chasing approval. They're focused on building a meaningful life, and that naturally draws people toward them. This also explains why some women remain interested in men who have busy, purpose-driven lives. It isn't because women enjoy competing for attention or because they want to feel neglected. It's because purpose is attractive. A man who has goals, responsibilities, friendships, and ambitions demonstrates that his world doesn't revolve around one person.
Purpose is attractiveness. Fellas, there's no way that half of y'all can sit up here today, or any of y'all can come up here and tell me that a man that's sitting on a YouTube stream complaining about women for 10, 11 hours a day, how do some of y'all women find that attractive? That is my question. That is a burning question for me. He has no purpose other than to get your coins, other than to get some super chats. What is the purpose of a grown man sitting up on a panel for 10, 11, 12 hours a day, panel hopping, going and argue with women about how they live, why they live, who they're dating? Let's see, Raj, how you doing? Welcome in. I didn't see you folks. I'm sorry. There we go. He says, hi there. I hope you're having a great day. I am new to the live, but would like to get a better idea of your morals. Could you please provide your profession, body count, and religion? Well, Raji, I think that's your name, first of all. You're asking a lot of personal questions. Even if I knew you, I wouldn't really discuss my religious beliefs with you. I will say that I'm a man of faith. I don't believe in religion. I can't answer that for you. My profession is by day, I'm a landscaper, and also I own a radio station. I am a DJ, and I do other things in the community as well. Let's see, my morals, as the Bible says, do unto others as they would do unto you. That is my faith, that I believe there is a higher power. There is something that's greater than me, has to be, or I wouldn't be able to speak to you right now. I wouldn't be about to go outside and look at trees and different animals and things like that. So I guess that simply put, there is a higher power, but I do not believe in this man-made religion because there's too many loopholes and too many reasons. Of course, I believe in the Bible. But which Bible are you talking about, Raj? Let's get back to this.
That creates balance, and balance often feels healthier than dependence. The mistake some men make is believing they need to manufacture jealousy or intentionally make a woman feel insecure to keep her interested. In reality, that usually damages trust over time. What keeps attraction alive isn't creating unnecessary drama. It's continuing to grow as an individual instead of abandoning your own life once you're in a relationship. The women I know are often...
And this is what I tell my sons. This is what I tell any of the young folks around me when I see them get into relationships. I said, the first thing about a relationship that you should never do is lose your identity. Once you lose who you are, once you start catering to the whims and the cries and this of any person, whether it be man or woman, once you lose yourself, you're done. Yes, we are talking about the relationship and the dynamics there, Raj. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's what everyone has really been talking about in the YouTube streets. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring. Normally, I don't get into the relationship sphere because that's not my thing. But since everyone's talking about it, I figured I'd go find a professional and give my, humble opinion about what I think, what I see in the relationship sphere. That's all right with you. Are you married? Are you single? I surely don't want to know what your body count is. Wouldn't wonder. I'm wondering why you even asked me that. That's strange in itself, don't you think?
Drawn to men who remain passionate about their purpose, protect their time, and continue investing in themselves. A relationship should become part of a man's life, not the replacement. When a man maintains his identity instead of losing himself in the relationship, many women naturally find that confidence and independence far more attractive than constant availability ever could. Another lesson I wish more men understood is that femininity doesn't exist in isolation. It responds to the environment of the relationship.
Did y'all fellas hear that? Read this on the screen. Femininity doesn't exist in isolation. It responds to the environment of the relationship. So if you always picture this, let's go to the YouTube streets right now. If you say you're a working mother, and the dude that you with, he calls himself a YouTube content creator. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock in the evening, whatever time it is, you hear him constantly screaming. You hear him always using profanity. Do you think you're going to come home and rest in your femininity behind that? I just came off work and hear this grown man sitting on a damn screen yelling at somebody. Here's this grown married man, or here's this man in a relationship. I'm going to get to you in a minute, Roger, about that 8 years since you put it out there. Here's this grown man that all he has to do, instead of trying to build himself bigger upside the house, he's trying to convince other people that they should live their life like him, not knowing that his life is shitty. But anyway, Raj, back to you. You say you're 29, been with your girl for 8 years, not married, and will not get married legally. What you mean, not get married legally? That's the only way in the United States. That's the only way they'll recognize a marriage is if you put it on paper. If you go down to the courthouse. Now, I know some people have those non-traditional marriages, but still, in order to be legally recognized as a couple in the United States, there's some things that you have to go through. I think for more people, I hate to say this, but some people look at marriage as a financial transaction. Some people do. Well, getting married in a church can be a beautiful thing. It could be a lasting memory. I would agree with that. But going to the Justice of the Peace can be a lasting memory. Or going to a wedding chapel in Las Vegas could be a beautiful experience. I think too many people sometimes put the emphasis on how it looks when they get married instead of worrying about what they're going to do once they're married. Well, there is no benefit to legal marriage for men. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. And Raj, maybe you should stick around, because I think this stream is definitely something you should want to take a look at. And I would suggest you go to Isabella's channel and check out some of the things that she has over there, because I think you may have a different. Well, I can tell you the main benefit of married men. Married men tend to live longer. Would you agree with that? Married men tend to live longer. Hey there, Candy Cane Lane. How you doing? Welcome in. Wouldn't you say so, Candy Cane Lane? Is that a speculation of mine? But is that a fact that the experts have proved that married men do live longer? I don't know. But anyway, you say you've been with your girl 8 years. Why haven't y'all got married yet? Whether it's traditional or not. I don't. For me, I can honestly say I'm divorced. But at one point in time, I don't think my ex-wife would allow me to date her for 8 years without, as they say, putting a ring on it. There's some financial benefits to being married as well, tax-wise, insurance-wise, especially if you have children. Let's put it this way, Raj. If you make it to the grand old age of 65 and legally you're not married, and for some unforsaken reason, the man upstairs decides to dial your number in and take you from the amongst us from the living, who will get your Social Security benefits? It won't be the woman that you've been with for 8 years, because legally you're not married to her. So it would have to be passed on to if you have children or a surviving relative. But by law, it can't to your girlfriend. Now, there's such a thing called common law marriages, but when it comes to those things like that, they don't recognize that as far as see, there's another benefit right there, my man. Here's Candy Cane Lane saying right there. She says, well, they also tend to make sure that the husband stay on top of any meds or should they be taken. That's another benefit to being married. That's another benefit to being married. If you're incapacitated, I'm sure if your wife loves you and if you treated her right, I'm sure she'll come in and bring you some soup, give you a sponge bath if you need it, or if you're in the hospital, come and visit you. What's insane?
This is something many women rarely explain because it can easily be misunderstood. Some men expect a woman to be soft, supportive, affectionate, and emotionally available regardless of how the relationship functions. But attraction and relationship dynamics are rarely that simple. Every healthy relationship involves two people bringing different strengths to the table. When a woman feels emotionally safe, respected, and confident in the direction of the relationship, many naturally become more relaxed, more nurturing, and more willing to express their feminine qualities. That doesn't mean every woman behaves the same way.
Absolutely, it does not. But for the most of us, now again, I can't speak for all men, but this is for me personally. I have 3 categories that I put women in: soft, medium, and hard. When I say hard, I don't, to me, the woman that's ready to beat you up at the drop of a hat, nah, that's not for me. A soft woman that'll let you walk all over her and just say anything to you, that's not for me. But them women that's in the middle, those mediums, that will know when it's time for them to rest in their femininity, and for those know when it's time to say, hey, I'm not just going to let you walk on me. I'm not going to let you treat me like a doormat. Those women that don't mind having great conversation with you. That'll, like Candy Cane Lane said, that, hey, if you're married, say, hey, did you take your medication today? It helps me. It helps me with my identification purposes. I don't like wasting my time, Raj, when it comes to relationships. So if I see a woman, say for instance, Raj, I'm a DJ, okay? And so if I see a woman at one of my events, I could look around and say, okay, she's a kind of a soft woman, dainty, like, men come in, or she might be a medium woman. Or if I see a woman with no disrespect, but I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just something that's within me. So what works for me may not work for you. As they said, not all women, Raj, respond to the same stimuli. If that's maybe that's not a great way to put it, but not all women respond the same way. So what I may be considering I'm doing good for one woman, that may not work for the next woman. You can be soft with me and hats, and I think that's and hard. I'm not sure what that means. No, but again, it's about time for me. I don't want to waste my time, and I know some of the things that I'm going to say is kind of going to be kind of rough, but that's truthful is the best way to be sometimes. I wouldn't want to waste my time trying to change somebody from who they are. If she's a hard woman, there's men out there that like hard women. That's just not for me. If she's a soft woman, there's men out there that like soft women. but that's not for me.
Nor does it mean one person is responsible for the other's happiness. It simply means relationships influence behavior more than many people realize. One mistake I see men make is becoming so focused on what a woman should be doing that they stop asking whether they're continuing to grow themselves.
Now, we know that's all in the YouTube streets right there. How many streams right now can we pinpoint that will tell y'all ladies what y'all should be doing? What y'all should be doing. Who you should be with. If you don't have children, why you ain't got children? If you got children, why you ain't with the baby daddy? If you ain't married, how come you're not married? Give me all the reasons why you're not married. How many times you've been proposed to? Y'all make relationships sound like you're going on a job interview. Well, not all relationships work out there, Raj. And I know a lot of people say you should be with the baby daddy, but let's say in the instance for this, okay, say the man or the woman is a constant cheater, and you know by him or her cheating on a constant basis, that's gonna, if you had brought children into the relationship, that's gonna cause some kind of conflict in the house. Where you're going, how you're going, what time you're coming back. That's going to reflect on you and her. And that's also going to be passed on to the kids because you're going to argue all the time. So is that a good relationship for you to bring children up in? Now, they say a lot of people break up for financial reasons. And I always say two broke people don't do nothing together but argue. There's all kinds of reasons why people don't stay together, whether they have children together or not. And sometimes, to me, honestly, I think it's for the best that parents split up because they do more harm than good to their children by staying together. Because that behavior, nasty behavior they're putting towards each other, is bound to rub off on the children sooner or later. Wouldn't you agree, Raj? Most of us don't, Raj. Most of us don't get to know the person that we are with before we lay down with them. Most of us don't.
Confidence, leadership, emotional stability, ambition, and reliability are qualities that create trust over time. Those qualities can't be replaced with expensive gifts or empty promises. They're built through consistent actions, and women notice that consistency far more than men often realize. At the same time, this doesn't give anyone permission to take advantage of a man's effort. A healthy relationship is never one-sided. Just as a man should continue becoming the best version of himself, a woman should also contribute through loyalty, kindness, respect, emotional maturity, and genuine support.
And that's a lot of things that I see now. I'm speaking directly to the women right now. That's a lot of things I see. This business of I don't want to go to the cheesecake factory, or it's a cheap date. If you taking me to the park, you got to spend $400-500 on me. No, hell I don't. I wish the hell I would spend $500 on somebody I'm just getting to know. If we can't go to a coffee shop and have that little cup of coffee or a latte or something like that, if we can't go get us a blanket and take a little walk into the park and sit down and chill, sipping on a little something, I don't need to know you. If my first initial reaction with you dictates that I got to spend $500 to get to know you, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. Because after I spend that $500, what I got after that? Somebody that I may not be attracted to after I start talking to her and I find out, we're really not compatible. I'm out $500. A latte only costs about $7-8. I'm willing to get that up. Nice little picnic in the park only costs you about $30-40-50. I'm willing to do that. Nice little corner cafe somewhere. I'm willing to do that. Now it comes to a different story. If we're in a relationship or I'm married to you, sky's the limit. But if I'm just getting to know you and you asking me to spend $500 on you, is you crazy?
Those qualities have to move in both directions. The strongest relationships aren't built because one person.
Right. I'm sorry to keep cutting this off, but that has to work in both directions. Show of hands, ladies, that you can type it in the chat later on, or you can leave it in the comment sections. How many of y'all is willing to spend $500 on a man on the first date? Much less 100. How many of y'all willing to shell out $500 for the first date? I bet there won't be too many hands popping up. It works both ways. The same way y'all expect a man to spend $500 on you the first date, don't be mad if a man expects, especially what y'all call good men. We're going to get to them. Don't be shocked or amazed if a good man says, hey, I know my worth. You want to hang out with me? You want to take me on a date? You got to impress me. Don't call me to the house and say you're going to cook something.
Constantly sacrifices while the other simply receives. They're built because both people understand their value, respect each other's role, and create an environment where trust, appreciation, and attraction continue growing together instead of slowly fading apart. The final lesson may be the one that surprises the most because it has very little to do with looks and everything to do with presence. Many men believe attraction is created by asking the right questions, saying the right words, or constantly trying to impress a woman. While communication certainly matters, one quality consistently stands out above almost everything else. Women are deeply attracted to men who know how to lead with quiet confidence. Now, before anyone misunderstands what I mean, confidence isn't about controlling a woman or treating her with disrespect. It's not about being loud, arrogant, or
some of y'all YouTubers, some of y'all so-called relationship gurus, y'all can learn something from this. You might want to cut that down. What's up there, Biff? How you doing? You might want to write that down right there. You're not going to break a woman down with trying to control her. You're not going to have her in your corner by disrespecting her. And you're certainly not going to impress her with being loud, obnoxious, and arrogant. You know what they say about the loudest man in the room? He's usually the weakest. And women pick up on that right away. That's the problem, Raj. That's what I'm here to tell you. Maybe that's part of the problem. No disrespect, but maybe that's why you've not married this woman in 8 years, because you refuse to listen. Or maybe you're not picking up the signs. Maybe your relationship is one-sided. Maybe you think that men or women are just supposed to be barefoot and pregnant. Maybe you think that your woman doesn't have a say-so or an opinion. I don't know. By that statement right there, why would I listen to a woman? Who else would you listen to? What advice as a man do you really think that you could really get from me on the psychic of a woman? If you wanted to learn about fixing a car, would you go and find a book on origami? No, you would go directly to the source with you. That's why it pays to listen. That's why sometimes it's best there, Raj, when you're in a room full of women, it's best to just sit back and listen. That's the best thing to do.
believing your opinion is the only one that matters. Real confidence is much quieter than that. It's the ability to make decisions without constantly second-guessing yourself. It's having direction instead of waiting for someone else to provide it. It's remaining calm when situations become difficult instead of becoming emotionally reactive. I've watched many men unintentionally place women in a position where they are expected to lead every decision. They ask where she wants to eat, what she wants to do, when she wants to meet, and what she thinks about every small choice. While there's nothing wrong with considering a woman's opinion, constantly handing over every decision can slowly create uncertainty. Many women appreciate a man who is thoughtful.
And there goes your answer right there, Raj. No one says that that you can't lead your woman. That's what we naturally do as men. That's expected of us. But it gets to the point, it sounds like to me, and I'm only going by what you're typing here, that you believe that the woman that you with or any other woman doesn't have a say-so. And I don't think you compare like what you're saying here. I don't think you compare. Do you ask a baby why she's screaming, or do you ask the parent that makes him stop screaming? No. Usually, if you know your child, your baby cries for a couple of reasons. Either they're hungry, either they want to be coddled, or either they're irritated about something. So I think after you, especially with newborns, once you start learning the pattern of when your baby cries or why it cries, you'll start learning it. That's what parents do. What's up there, El Boogie? How you doing? Always a pleasure. Ain't that right? Isn't that what parents do? They learn their children. They soothe their children, their babies, and all that. When find out what's wrong with them. Well, it seems to me that's the aura that you're giving off there, my man. It's like it seems like everything this lady here is saying, you're going just the opposite of. So let's continue. Let's see how you think about this one.
Enough to make plans, confident enough to take initiative, and secure enough to handle responsibility without needing constant reassurance.
Of course, you don't ask a baby why it's crying. Usually, babies don't talk. So it's up to you as the parent to figure out why it's crying. There might be several things that you have to do to soothe your child. Sometimes feeding the baby is just what the doctor ordered. Sometimes just to pick the baby up and coddle it is just what the doctor ordered. Sometimes just to soothe the baby is just what the doctor ordered. But you as the parent have to figure that out, especially if the child can't talk yet. But once the child does start talking, usually you'll ask the child, what you crying for? What's the matter? What can mommy or daddy do to make it better?
This same confidence extends far beyond dating. It shows in the way a man carries himself around other people, how he speaks, how he responds under pressure, and whether he has a meaningful purpose outside the relationship. Women notice these things because confidence is difficult to fake. It's revealed through consistent behavior, not rehearsed.
That's right. Confidence is difficult to fake, just like chemistry. You can't fake chemistry, folks. Either you like somebody or you don't. Sooner or later, even the chemistry that you have, it'll let you know. I mean, some people hit it off at that initial stage of getting to know each other. You want to talk to each other, you want to be around each other, but sooner or later, if that magic disappears, if that chemistry that you thought was gone, simply because you don't have the same moral standards, you don't have the same, it could be communication styles, or basically you two find out you really don't have anything in common. No, you can't fake confidence, sir. You can try and BS your way through it. You can't fake chemistry either. No, you can't. No, sir, you cannot. That business of fake it till you make it does not work with confidence or chemistry. No, sir, it does not. You can't fake those two. And I'm not, to be quite honest, I'm not sure. Of course, chemistry fades, but it takes on another form. I think chemistry changes into, dare I use that four-letter word, love, respect, admiration, trust. I think that's what chemistry turns into. No, fake it till you make it was to fake confidence. Fake it till you make it is to go into a club with a BMW, what do you call it, keychain, knowing damn well you're driving a Volkswagen. You trying to exude confidence, but reality going to strike you square in the face when you get outside.
Words. Perhaps that's why the most attractive men aren't always the loudest or the wealthiest. More often than not, they're the ones who know who they are, where they're going, and invite a woman to walk beside them instead of asking her to lead the way. Another thing I've learned from talking to women over the years is that attraction doesn't end once a relationship begins. Many men believe that once they've won a woman's heart, the work is over. They slowly stop investing in themselves because they assume commitment guarantees attraction. But beautiful women often describe something very different. They don't lose interest overnight. They lose interest when the man they were attracted to slowly disappears. This doesn't always happen because a man becomes less successful or less attractive physically. More often, it happens because he becomes too predictable. His ambition fades, his curiosity disappears, his world begins revolving entirely around the relationship, and without realizing it, he stops growing as an individual. The confidence.
Wait there, ABT. What we on today? We talking about relationships. Since it was all in the YouTube streets, everybody doing this, everybody talking about that. I figure I throw my hat into the ring about them relationships things. Give them a little bit of, Mr. Music insight, so to speak. The young lady up here, her name is Isabella. She's a relationship. Honestly, she went to school for this. She ain't a Cheyenne Bryant. Her studies is relationship, focusing basically on men. So how it is. What we're doing today.
That first attracted her is gradually replaced by comfort, routine, and emotional dependence. Now, don't misunderstand this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with consistency or stability. Every healthy relationship needs both. But stability should never become stagnation. Women are naturally drawn to men who continue evolving.
What? Did you hear that? Don't come in there with the same, every birthday you getting her the same thing. Did you hear that? Don't become stagnant in a relationship. Don't become an Al Bundy. Then when you come home, you sit down on the couch, kick your feet up, stick your hands in your pants pocket, and demand Peg bring you a beer. That only gonna last for so long. Believe me. Stagnation. If you don't keep your woman interested, there's always somebody else out there that it's in the back of her mind somewhere. He was pretty funny. He wouldn't have came home. Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. Am I wrong, ladies? loose woman roundup. No, I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I possibly can. So that's why I decided to use a young lady to speak to the generals today. Somebody with a little bit more credentials. don't, don't laugh there, L Boogie. Let's go.
A man who keeps learning, pursuing meaningful goals, staying healthy, developing new skills, and maintaining strong friendships brings a sense of momentum into the relationship. That momentum is attractive because it shows that life is still moving forward. This is also why I encourage men not to abandon the passions they had before they met someone. Keep exercising, keep building your career, keep spending time with your friends and family.
Perfectly said. Listen here, a lot of us men, what we do is, man, I gotta go home. I don't want my chick mad at me when I get to the house because I'm hanging out with the fellas. Next thing you knew, you start losing your friends. You start losing the hobbies that you used to do. You stop doing this, you stop doing that, and y'all just sitting in the house looking at each other, hoping, damn, I hope she finds something to do. Or I can't wait to go to work. Do I think they hear me? Some of them might. Some of them might, ABT. Some of them might. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Some of them don't want to hear me. Bro, you guys boot up this stream yard so we can talk about this. Do you, Raj, do you want to come up? Is that what you're asking me? Do you want to participate in this stream? Is that what you're saying? Just let me know if anybody wants to come up and participate. I mean, I just call myself the lug doctor because I ain't had nothing to put in there. But if you got a better thing, all right. What stream are you in? Are you in the vertical stream or are you in the YouTube? If you're in the vertical stream, you may not be able to catch the link from there. But I've got two other two other particular things that I'm going to lose. Now, I don't know if you folks can hear it, but we're getting one of those midday thunderstorms down here. And so I might lose connection or I might lose power. You never know. Let's see. I believe growth is for both genders, not wanting to become complacent and complicit in normal cycle. We can have order and still thrive and benefit. Absolutely right. I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't need to. I don't need to know where you're at 24/7. No, I don't have. I don't have a call in line there yet, my man. Once I get my I am building another platform here. And once I get that all squared away, you'll be able to call in on that platform as well. But right now, I don't have a call in platform other than to drop the link here. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Let me grab the link. And for any of you that want to come up, all I ask that you are respectful to me and the folks down in the listening lounge, as well as anyone that may come up on the panel. Okay. So let's continue here. Right. Again, keep exercising, keep building your career, especially at exercising. Now, I will say this. I'm going to give credit where credit's due, since I like naming names sometimes. I'll always hear Sharon Braces saying, walk 15 minutes in that direction and walk 15 minutes in that direction. Okay, now that's fair. I can guarantee you, I'm older than a lot of these men that I see on these platforms, but I can guarantee you, you guys are completely out of shape. What's up there, Sock Passe? How you living, my brother? Good to see you. Welcome in. Hey there, Char Willie. How you doing? Good to see you as always. Good to see you. But listen, again, you can see these guys, MWT, man with titties. And then they have the nerve to talk bad about these 10s that they want. You can't get a 10 if you're out of shape. You can't get a 10 if you got the furniture disease. What is that? Your chest done fell down to your drawers. You can't get a 10 if your career is based on your YouTube stream. All of y'all not going to be Kevin Samuels. I even hate to say, all of y'all are not going to be an O'Shea Dukes Jackson. All of y'all not going to be some of these guys that make a little money on these YouTube platforms. I know there's one particular guy that has, he says close to 1 million subs, but I always see him in other folks' platforms. Always see him in other folks' platforms. What, ain't no money there? Ain't no money over there? Let me put this up on the screen there. Hold on just a second there before I let you come up. Let me see who you are, a special Eddie. Can you speak for me? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Oh, give me a second. There's something wrong with my audio, because I can hear you a little, but it's kind of low.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's my phone audio. I don't even know what to say, but yeah. It's me. Yeah. It's Roger. And how's everything going, boss?
I'm doing good. How you living, man?
I'm doing quite well. I'm doing
Good,
quite, just chilling, enjoying my Monday.
All right, me too. Me too. Good. So your thoughts so far? Go right ahead.
Yes. So I feel like it's really men that really put in a lot of the work. And like I know you're saying that, it's men saying they talking down on women. It's not really men talking down on women. It's just that men are the ones that are doing stuff. Like, men are the ones that are going out on the first date, that are planning the date. Like, a lot of women nowadays don't really do much. And like, men just burden the shoulder of all the responsibility, and it's hard for men. That's all it is.
Well, I see what you're saying, but let me just go ahead. I disagree with you just based on the principle we as men, don't we call ourselves the providers?
Okay. So if men are the providers, then that means men are superior to women because
No. That doesn't mean that, sir.
how? How?
Just because you provide doesn't mean you are superior.
Okay. What state do you live in, if you don't mind me asking? I live in New York
I
City.
I live in South Carolina.
Okay. So, do you know what the median income is for individuals in North Carolina? In North Carolina?
In South Carolina,
Oh,
it's
in South
anywhere.
Carolina.
In South Carolina, it's anywhere from on the low, it's 34. On the high, it's 62. That's the medium income here.
Oh, okay. Let's say it's somewhere around there. Do you know what income you need to take care of a family of four?
Well, it depends on your location. Depends on where
Just
you
in
live.
general in South Carolina, like
Yeah, well,
based on the same
well,
numbers.
yeah, I can tell you that. I mean,
I'm not testing you because I could
no,
Google it too. I'm not testing you.
no, I don't. I honestly, well, I've raised children, so it's a little different because you don't know the day-to-day expenses of those things that could pop up. So to give you
Okay.
a
If
blanket,
you don't mind, can you give me a second to just Google? Because
sure,
I'm trying to prove a point with numbers specifically. Because
sure, go right ahead, go right ahead. Hey there, ABT, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. What's your thoughts so far, ma'am?
Listen, I'm actually just going to be up here in the background. I kind of need my hands.
Okay, okay.
Uh, I so I want to listen, and I'm gonna just go and put this out here. I'm not finna go back and forth with them type of people. They just
Okay.
yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm
I
gonna let
got
you
you.
go ahead and box on that because you already it's a complete waste of
Well,
my talent. Let's just
right,
say that.
right. But sometimes you just, as the thing says, step into my web, said the spider.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Hmm.
So we're gonna let them step on in it.
Yeah, step on in.
And
Come on in. Come on in. With all respect, my man seems to be respectful. He's had carrying dialogue, so we're good. I'm
right,
good
right.
with that. Yeah, I'm good
I'm
with
just
that.
here with the side eye. I'm here to
You look,
provide
yeah, you're looking
the
at him side eye.
side eye
I'm not
energy.
mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, that's
See,
all. That's it. That's
Let-
all. But y'all go ahead, have fun. I'm here.
so
Okay, but
you get those numbers up for me, my man, because I
yeah,
know that the
yeah,
cost of living is much differently in New York than it would be in South Carolina. You guys
right.
don't build out, y'all build up. So y'all basically in North and in New York, y'all pay for airspace, not land space.
Facts. Yeah. That's what I was asking because it's very different. So I'm not gonna project what we do over here onto whatever the situation is there in South Carolina. Yeah. Okay. So ask ChatGPT. So take this with a grain of salt. It
Mm,
says for individuals it's 39,000, like you said. So household is 69,000.
I was a little off on
And
the figures, but I was close.
yeah, no, I mean, I think you're pretty accurate. I mean, and of course, like, I mean, there's no way for you to like really know, but
Right.
you're pretty accurate.
Exact. Yeah, the exact numbers, but I was in a
Y-
nice ballpark figure for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Mm.
But okay, this I don't know. This I don't know if I really trust it. It's saying income needed for basics for family of four is 100,000. I don't know about that one. That seems a little interesting to me. Because I would have thought it would be around 70,000, but
Well, again, it depends on what part of South Carolina you live in. Okay, say like if you live in Hilton Head, South Carolina, the cost of living there is a whole lot more. If you live in North Charleston, the cost of living is not much there. You can get in an apartment for like maybe the average anywhere from 800, 850 to 15, 1600. Whereas if you go to Hilton Head and you at the same apartment might cost you 2 grand a month.
yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. So we can't trust these numbers completely because
No, no.
if you kind of a clown and you wanna spend too much money on where you live, then don't live above your means, obviously.
Yeah, that's
So
basically what that's a good saying right there. Don't live above your means. If you know you're making, if you're not making $100,000 a year, why would you want to put yourself in an upside down situation?
absolutely, I agree with that. But so I just want to take the income for individuals, which they said it was like 39,000. Let's say it's like 40. I'm gonna just say 45. I'm gonna just say 45.
Mhm.
So and they said 100. I'm gonna say it's 70 probably because that makes more sense to me because I think you could honestly do it on 70.
Hmm.
So if a man is fully the provider, when you say provider, you mean the wife doesn't contribute to the family, or what do you mean when you
No,
say like
no,
this?
no,
People
no.
have different definitions.
Basically, I'm just going by what the let's just narrow this down to the YouTube definition. A lot of them
Yeah.
men in the YouTube spaces say they are the provider, they are the leaders, they are the protectors. So they say that's a natural thing. So if that happens naturally, why would folks expect a woman to help provide if that's what you folks said you have covered?
Okay. Yeah. So personally, I think men and women are equal. I don't intend to be the leader in my relationship. But if
Mm,
she wants to defer to me, I'm probably pretty good at planning. I'm in the military. I'm able to plan a lot of stuff, move a lot of things. If you want to defer to me, cool if that makes sense. But
mhm.
I do think women are extremely capable, and I expect if for some reason I'm incapable, something happens to me, I die, I get shot, I get sick. I expect her to be able to manage the whole family without me there. That's my expectation. So I don't see men as above women personally.
Right, but not to cut you off, but
Yeah,
again, when you say that as you as the natural leader, those things will come into place to where you already set it up to where if something should happen to you become incapacitated, that she's already known because she deferred to you on some things and you talked to her about a few things instead of you being the domineering husband. You trust her advice. You know that if something should happen to me, that you could step right in and fulfill my role, vice versa. Isn't that better for a relationship?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's ideal. That's a godly relationship. What you just described. That's ideal. I agree with that.
Sure, sure. But that's
Ye-
that's not the general consensus of what we hear, as they say in the YouTube streets. It's my way or the highway.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, yeah. But the thing I will say is that if that's what they're doing, that if the normal person makes about 45,000 for a family of four, you need 70,000. If that man is covering that and the wife isn't doing anything, that's a different dynamic because like those two are not equals at that point
O-
because
Okay, all right. Let's go back to here. See, again, dialogue is dialogue. But so, would you consider raising the children nothing? Would you consider keeping the house clean nothing? Would you consider grocery shopping nothing? Would you consider picking the kids up, dropping them off to school nothing?
okay, so I'm gonna answer your question directly and I'm gonna give my explanation.
Sure,
I
go
would
right
I
ahead.
would say I would say it's extremely important when they're babies, and it gets less rigorous when they grow up. Like if they're teenagers, if they're in middle school, it's not nearly as rigorous as when they're kids. But either way, there is a nominal value that you could assign to them when they're babies, when they're kids, and when they're growing up. So I would say
Mm,
it's something, but you know,
no, you use the word nominal, so explain.
yeah, yeah. I mean, of course. So it's like those stuff you could pay a nanny for. Those stuff you could have grandma do it. What's the rate that the grandma's that you're gonna pay the grandma to do it? These are things that can be done. You could pay a maid. Like like you always see these things
I,
online that yeah.
I get what you're saying. So basically, if you had grandma to do it, or you took the kid to the daycare center, what would the in turn would the wife be doing? Just sitting around doing nothing?
So we completely agreed on what the husband and wife should be doing. That they should work together.
Hmm.
But with what these people are saying, that they say that that the man should be the provider. In that case, she would be doing nothing, which I don't think that makes much sense.
Right,
Because yeah, yeah, but if that's what they're doing, then then I
right,
do see their point.
right. So basically, what you just described, my man, and again, she beat me to it. But El Bookie says basically, you want someone else to raise your children. And I was going to ask you, what would be the purpose if your wife was a stay-at-home mom? What would be the purpose of a babysitter or taking them to the grandmother to say that she's not doing nothing?
So personally, I would want my wife to work. If they're like fresh babies, like need to be breastfed, then wife definitely stay at home. But I'm gonna just tell you quickly, like my family, mom,
Hmm.
I'm five kids, same father. As soon
Hmm.
as the last one of us was in school, she went right back to work. Like she went to school, she went to work, and then she taught us to cook and clean and take care of the house.
Right.
So that way, when she came home, we gave her massages, we cooked the food, we cleaned the house. She thought life was great. Once our youngest, the youngest sibling was like 5, life was great for her after that. That's what she says.
Right.
But to be a stay-at-home wife doesn't make sense to me. To be a stay-at-home mom, to take care of the kids that need to be taken care of, that's a valuable thing to do for the family, and I think it's important. Like, your family should be raising your family. That's good. But
But
if you're
yeah,
just gonna, yeah,
yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree with everything you just said. But again, to me, that's not what we hear. I'm not saying that you're saying it, but one of the reasons why I did this is because of what I hear in the YouTube streets. The majority of, and dare I use I'm gonna put it in quotations, since I really don't go to white spaces. The majority of the men-led panels are always saying, "We are the providers. We do this. We do that," and the women should learn to submit because we do this, because we do that. But if you are that person that says that automatically steps out and says this is what we as men are, why would you not expect a woman to, as you say, not be a woman that goes to work? If you're saying this is what you want her to do, you can't have it both ways. You can't complain about the woman not going to work and then it's saying that shouldn't have a life at all because you stopped her from going to work, right?
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. If that's the case, yes. So those same men, they're looking after girls that are really young, that don't have a prospects to have a career, like 20, 19, like somewhere between 18 to 23. Those are the girls that they're looking for, which, age gaps is its own thing. And I personally wouldn't do it. But if that's what they're doing and those girls are okay with, a lot of them don't want to work, because that's the big thing. Because you're a human. If you want to have your own career and your husband doesn't want you to, you make your own decisions. So if they collectively make a decision, the wife won't work, you know, like
Right,
at that,
right.
that then like the way I see it, they're removing their own agency and letting their husband be the boss.
And that's exactly what the young lady is trying to explain, and also that I'm trying to explain. And I said this, and I'll say it over. Once you lose your identity in a relationship, it's doomed to failure. Once you stop being who
Yeah,
you are,
yeah, yeah.
it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I don't think that's a sustainable relationship personally. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think that's sustainable. Some people, I do see it work. I don't understand why it works, but I don't see that on a widespread. It's not a feasible way to be in a relationship. It's just not. You
Right.
build resentment. You know, People see the mom. She's not doing anything. How can you expect your mom like that? Like, your mom tells you to do something. That's where you get the kids saying, "Mom, don't talk to me," which is crazy.
Again, that comes from what we were talking about earlier. If the kids see a toxic relationship, don't you think sooner or later that's not going to rub off on them? They see dad disrespecting mom at every chance that he get. Don't you think that's not going to rub off on the children, that they think it's okay to do disrespect mom too? Or if mom is or if dad is a henpecked husband, don't you think if they're raising boy children, that the boys will eventually be his henpecked husbands as well because of what they saw and what they grew up around?
Um, yeah. So, I want to say it definitely has a strong effect. It definitely a strong effect, 100%. Because I didn't have any sisters. I only had brothers. But personally, like, my dad was pretty violent, but he couldn't really beat up my mom because my mom was stronger than him. So if he ever got mad, he's getting his butt beat. So you already know, like, at that point, I'm not really seeing a lot of man to woman violence at all. But that's his own scenario. But I do think it does have a negative effect if you're, like, verbally abusing the woman. That's definitely, it's not positive. You could unlearn those things, but why would you want to unlearn those things when you could just never have learned those things? So I do agree with what you're saying. You're not wrong at all about that. You're right.
A slap in the face or some harsh words? Which one do you think lasts longer?
Slap in the face.
I don't think so. I think some of
Wait,
the
you talking
nasty
about
words,
for women or
right?
for the kids?
No, I'm talking about for you as a man. If a woman walks up to you, pow, slaps you in the face or punches you in the arm, or if she says something to you that's really nasty, like you got a short tallywhacker or you're not good in bed, which one lasts longer?
Slap in the face.
Not me. I guarantee you, if a woman tells a man you ain't shit in the bedroom, that lasts a whole lot longer than getting slapped. ABT, can you chime in for that one for a minute? What you think? You got a woman on the panel. We can ask her when she comes back. I'll make sure to
Yeah.
ask her.
Oh, I know she said she wanted to use the side eye though, but she
Yeah,
said her hands are occupied. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say me personally, physical violence is a big red flag, and I can understand somebody getting angry, saying something they don't really mean, but when you start getting physically violent, you know that I don't know what you're gonna do to my kids. I don't know what you're gonna do to my family. That's a problem. Like you could cause serious damage. Like if you
right.
just say, because if you say something crazy to me, I could say some crazy stuff too, but I could apologize. So you could apologize.
And,
I didn't mean to say that, but
right,
you
and that
can't take
and
that stabbing me. That's a problem.
right, and then don't those words going back and forth, don't that what's usually what escalates into violence? Because
Oh, 100%.
let's face it, women when it comes to an argument, you're not gonna win a pissing contest with a woman. And I don't know why folks haven't figured that out yet.
Oh well, I
Not
ain't
gonna
gonna
win.
hold you.
You're not going to win that argument because they hold stuff back from years, and I'm not chauvinistic when I say this. That's comes from experience.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't necessarily keep receipts, but if you bring some stuff up from a year ago, they'll bring up how they felt about it.
That's
But
exactly what I mean. So that
right,
slap, eventually, the sting of the slap might get away. If she slaps you or punches you in the arm or something like that, that might not even hurt you. But if she says something so detrimental to your ego, you gonna remember that for years. Or if you say
mm,
something detrimental to her ego, she's going to remember that for years. And chances are, every time you're in a dispute or an argument, that's going to come up.
okay, so if she says that somebody else is better than me, that would be different. But
Sure.
I'd also just leave her. So, but if she just said like, "Oh, you got a small, tool," I'd be like, "Oh, I know I don't." Like this girl's tweaking.
Yeah.
She just yapping. Like I'm confident in myself. I'm secure in myself. If you say, "Oh, this person such and such is better than me," then that's what you actually think. That's a little different. At that point, I'm like, "Oh wow, so this is how you feel." All right. Well, if you feel like that, like if I'm at the top dude, I could, we could just end it. Cause like,
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. But again, as the stream that we're reviewing, as she pointed out, remember, there's always a woman always sees someone. That's what men do. They always see someone that they like. Where they might be a little taller than you, they might have a little bit more money than you, they might drive a fancy car or something like that. So again, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They say a lot of men have wandering eyes, but that don't necessarily mean that you follow up on those wandering eyes. True,
absolutely, yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a fact. Like personally, I would never cheat. Do I see a lot of beautiful women? Absolutely. I honestly, I say more than half the women I see, they pretty good. They pretty good. I won't even lie. I would never put one above my girl, but you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll agree
God,
with that.
yeah, God done got some good handiwork. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah. Let me stop talking myself into trouble.
Yeah, yeah. You better do that. Discretion be the better part of valor. Let's continue
Yeah,
here.
Continue
yeah,
becoming a better version of yourself. A relationship should complement your purpose, not replace it. The happiest couples I've seen aren't built around one person completing the other. They're built around two people who continue growing individually while choosing to grow together. When a man never stops improving himself, attraction has far more room to deepen instead of quietly fading with time. One thing that beautiful women notice almost immediately, but many men completely overlook, is the difference between confidence and the need for approval. At first glance, those two qualities can look surprisingly
The need for approval. How often do we hear that? I've been in this space for long. No, you gonna respect me. I've
You
done
know,
this. I've done this. I'm the man. I'm the guy that built the black manosphere. Pay attention
so
to me. Go ahead.
yeah, no, you know what? So I do want to delineate even those manosphere people.
Uh-huh.
There is a clear delineation between like the average man and like a dude at the top, like, and even like because they do say some nonsense, but the nonsense doesn't apply to normal men. It applies to rich men and women that think that they have all the options.
Hold on just a second. Let me speak to Lana. Hey, Lana, how you doing?
Yeah.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Now, explain what you mean. It applies to rich men. Explain that.
Oh yeah. Yes. So like, when they say like, oh, like this lady has to earn my approval and stuff like that, they could only even say that because they know they're top like 1% of like earners, which a lot of women are looking for. So they know that they're like a big prize. But that's not most men. Like for most men, most men are not like that. Like most men, they go to work, they try to provide for their family, they try to be kind to their friends, they try to help people. But in general, I'd say men are pretty nice, but those dudes at the top, they get inflated egos, they get a little arrogant, and then they say, you got to earn your place to step in front of me as a woman.
And that's exactly what I mean. Charisma in the wrong hands could be a dangerous thing. And some men find that out. Either they think because they have money, they lead with their wallet and they believe that's why the women are flocking towards it because they dished out a little bit of money. Or some men believe because they have a fancy car, that's why the women. But that false bravado gets a whole lot of men in trouble. No, you're absolutely right. Not all men think like the manosphere. Not all men do. But like the old saying goes, you can't see the forest for the trees. Women, I hear this. This is the main question that I hear from women, black, white, or whatever, on the YouTube streets and the social media avenues or whatever. Where are the good men at?
So, but that's my thing. The good men are invisible to them because a lot of these women, the money does attract these women, though. That's the thing. Like these rich guys, they still end up with 3, 4 women a night.
Yeah, but that's the point of it. That's a hollow and shallow relationship. If you're just there for
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
money, that's hollow and shallow. And again, if you're attracted to a woman because of she has a whole lot of money, what if her money runs out, or vice versa? If the woman is attracted to you for your money, and what if the money runs out? You know she gonna move on. As long as you
Immediately.
keeping that right, as long as you got the money flowing, so that works both ways. Two broke
Yeah,
folks
no,
don't do nothing but argue.
it definitely does. But even these manosphere people, they never talk about the normal guy because the normal guy is making 30, 50,000, and he could provide for himself if he works with a woman. So actually, that chat thing that I brought up, the 100,000 a year for a family, it says if both people are making 53,000.
Right.
Like
So-
that's what we were saying, that is reasonable. Like when the husband and wife work together, that's
right.
ideal. But it's just social media, especially these younger girls. Like you said, $500 date, bro. What is that? Come on, come
And
on.
some women expect that, and if you that kind of guy that leads with your wallet, then you'll go on that date. But if you're one of those guys that don't lead with your wallet, that don't think that you can purchase a woman or buy a woman's favor by buying her expensive gifts and all of this stuff, then that $500 date is not something that you're going to do. You're not, as a man, going to put yourself in that situation.
You
You
see,
already you already
absolutely.
know what her expectations are. If you
So,
started out
so
with $500, you're going to end up spending more, don't you think?
100%. I mean, by the end of the month, you may spend 10K
Okay.
because it won't go down. Yeah, absolutely. First date, and they say, "Oh, you set a precedent." But
Right.
when these manosphere people are talking, those women that they're talking about, like these ridiculous standard women, like that's just absurd. Like that's not
O-
humans. Humans don't. You're not supposed to spend that much money.
Okay. Now you hit on a point that I don't think you realize. You say these are those type women, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So don't aren't those the type women that they put themselves around?
Right. Okay. 100%. But the thing is, they don't care about the women that they deal with because they see those women as objects. Like they're like, oh,
Trophies, as trophies to put up on the shelf. What do
yeah,
you do with a trophy once you win it, my man?
you let it collect dust and you earn a new trophy.
And that's right. And you just out there trying to get a new trophy. Now, let
Yeah.
me ask you this. You know that they call themselves alpha and betas. The alpha male does what?
I never really caught on to that alpha beta stuff, but
Right, right. He's
yeah,
always on the hunt. He's always on the hunt, right? And there's always
yeah,
somebody trying to replace the alpha male. Am I right?
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
So isn't that what's going on in these spaces that we see with these guys claiming to be alpha males, but you always have somebody that's always trying to knock them out of that number one spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
And if he does, he'll take all the girls that that was the first one.
okay, all right. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Similar. A man may appear polite, attentive, and eager to make a good impression. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when every decision he makes is driven by one question: will this make her like me more? Women are remarkably good at sensing that difference. When a man constantly changes his opinion, apologizes for things that don't require an apology, or becomes afraid to disagree because he doesn't want to create tension, he unintentionally communicates something he never intended to say. He communicates that her approval has become more important than his own self-respect.
Bingo. Hey there, Brownie. How you doing? That's exactly it. And that's how you lose your who you are. When you start making, this goes both ways. When you start making decisions based on what that other person wants you to do, it won't be long before they completely have taken over your life. I like it when I was married. I didn't mind the times that my wife would go in and, hey, I want us to look kind of similar tonight. So she would go and pick out some little clothes for me. But, you know, most of the time she would be like, hey, we're going such and such a place. And telling me, letting me know up front, make sure you're dressing accordingly. Don't be out there wearing tennis shoes. Well, that's another benefit of having a good woman around you, a well-rounded woman around you.
I don't. I'm kind of Goldilocks in what she said because I feel like she went pretty extreme because like I think as a man you should apologize when you're wrong.
And some don't.
Yeah, but if she sees you as weak because you apologize for something you did, I think that's a bit that's
No,
just
no,
poor
no, 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 no,
communication.
no, 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 no. You misinterpreted. She didn't say that you were weak for apologizing. She said you're weak if you start apologizing for things to suit her need to make her comfortable. There's a difference. Hey there, Jennifer Lewis. How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. There's a difference.
Yeah, I wish she provided an example of what she's talking about because
Well,
I can't really see. Like, if somebody feels bad about something, it's like, oh, I'm sorry that this is happening. We got to do it regardless, though.
okay. At the beginning of my stream, I played this song by a relentless Aaron called "Fire Don't Care." Now, if you listen to it, you can
Mhm.
replace each word of that. So this I'll use as an example. Okay, and fire invites you to the room, and you don't realize how close you're standing to it until you get what?
Till you get
Burnt.
burned.
Until you get burnt, and that's in some relationships. You don't really realize how close you are into it, either on the good side of it or the bad side of it, until it burns you. Now, it could be a good heat, or it could be a bad heat.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the advice that she gave kind of leans more towards that manosphere. Don't care about what women think because if that's my wife, I do want her to feel loved and heard. And if there's something that I did that hurt her, I could apologize for the fact that what I did hurt her, even though I still stand by what I said
But
or what I did.
let's go back and listen to that again. But I think what
Yeah, I
she
may
was
have
saying,
misheard. I may have
right?
misheard. Yeah.
Will this make her like me more? So let's go and see what it says from there.
Women are remarkably good at sensing that difference. When a man constantly changes his opinions, apologizes for things that don't require an apology,
There. When he constantly changes his opinion, or he constantly apologizes for things that he doesn't need to apologize for,
or becomes afraid to disagree because he doesn't want
or
Okay,
becomes
afraid to
afraid
disagree. Yeah.
or becomes afraid to disagree because you might hurt her feelings. Sometimes you have to disagree. That's
Yeah.
part of
The,
a relationship.
Yeah, that part I agree with completely. Yeah, don't be afraid to disagree. I'll be the first to say, yeah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
To create tension. He unintentionally communicates something he never intended to say. He communicates that her approval has become more important than his own self-respect. Over time, that dynamic slowly changes the balance of the relationship. The men who leave the strongest impression don't behave that way. They listen carefully, they're respectful, and they value a woman's perspective, but they don't abandon their own identity in the process.
See, that's exactly what she was meaning. So I think she's far
Okay, yeah.
off from what the manosphere was talking about. But basically what she's saying is don't be sorry for everything. Stand up, get a backbone sometime. Don't be afraid to tell your woman no. Or don't be afraid to disagree with her because you might not get none tonight.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, I
right,
do agree
Southwest. Don't-
wholeheartedly, but I will say that is the exact same thing that the manosphere will push. Like it is word for the exact same thing, 100%.
No, 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 not the manosphere. They're basically what the manosphere is saying. She better do what I say. If she ain't got she got nothing to say because I'm the leader, I'm the provider. I put everything here. So the only thing that this woman could do for me is raise my children, take care of my manly needs, cook, clean, and that's it. Ladies, am I wrong with that? Is that the general consistency we hear from the manosphere?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is not wrong at all, but what she said is in line with that. It's just the manosphere says it more extremely, but it is along the same line as don't be moved just because this is what a woman wants. Stay true to yourself. Like the positive parts of the manosphere are that's what she just described. Like at least the positive parts.
No disrespect, but I'm finding it hard to find a positive part in it about the manosphere. Me personally, just from my own my own personal beliefs, I find it hard anything from the manosphere. But let's continue.
Yeah.
If they disagree, they express it calmly. If they're busy, they don't pretend otherwise. If they have boundaries, they don't apologize for having them. That kind of emotional stability feels very different because it comes from genuine self-confidence rather than fear of losing someone. I've heard many women describe this as feeling safe, not because the man always agrees with them, but because he's consistent. His personality doesn't change depending on who's standing in front of him. He's the same person with his friends, his family, his colleagues, and the woman he's dating. Ironically, the less a man depends on constant approval, the more authentic he becomes. And authenticity is one of the few qualities that never goes out of style because it's incredibly difficult to fake for very long. Another lesson many men eventually learn is that attraction is influenced by how a woman feels when she's with you, not simply by what you say to her. This is one of the biggest differences between how men and women often experience relationships. Men frequently focus on solving problems, giving explanations, or finding the perfect words. Women, on the other hand, often remember the emotional experience more than the exact conversation. That doesn't mean facts don't matter. Of course they do, but emotions leave a lasting impression. Think about the people you've met throughout your own life. You may not remember every sentence they spoke, but you probably remember how they made you feel.
And that's exactly what I mean, special ed. That's exactly what I mean. I would much rather be slapped by a woman than for her to
Mm-hmm.
say something that I know that maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, even 10 years from now, I'm gonna remember. I'll get over that slap. I'll get over that kick. I'll get over that pinch. But it's hard to get over some words that bruise your ego.
Mm. I don't know. I think my ego really not big at all. Like I don't really. Like if someone says something on me, I don't really care too much. Like if it's
Mm,
something that I could improve, I'll improve it. If I can't improve it, amen.
yeah, I
Tough luck.
get you. I get you.
Women are no different. This is why confidence has such a powerful effect. A calm man who remains composed during difficult moments creates a completely different emotional experience from someone who panics, overreacts, or constantly seeks reassurance. Likewise, a man who laughs easily, enjoys his life, and brings positive energy into a room often becomes more memorable than someone who is simply trying to impress everyone around him. Many men mistakenly believe attraction is built through expensive dates, constant compliments, or grand gestures. While those things can be appreciated, they rarely replace the emotional experience a woman.
Bingo. You can buy the rubies, the diamonds, the burqa, the red bottom shoes, and all that other stuff. But folks, eventually that's not gonna be enough. She gonna want you to
Yeah.
be. She gonna want that emotional attachment. She won't gonna want to know that, hey, am I the prettiest girl in the room? You can't buy love in the grocery store. You
Yeah,
can't buy
that is a
respect in the
fact.
grocery store. You can't buy these things that this woman is telling you on a shelf somewhere. It has to be authentic. You can't fake it till you make it. That's what I meant. Chemistry, you can't fake it.
So I would say the thing is that it does work for fast relationships. Like if you don't want a commitment, you just want a quick smash and dash.
Yeah, that
Ejaculate,
was word.
evacuate.
Sure, that's sure. I mean, if it's a one night stand or whatever, hey, if that floats your boat, I don't whether I agree or disagree with one night stands. That's on that person. But hey, if you got this dare I say this chemistry that you rock with someone and you feel confident that this is somebody you want to lay with, who am I to get in the way with that? That ain't my business.
Okay, so that's true, but I think that's the bigger issue. That is like, what are people's intentions? Like, are people looking to find the person they want to get married, or do people want to go around, experiment, and experience the world? Because if they want to experience the world, that money will get them every time.
Well, I don't know.
Because if you're looking for like a husband, you're looking for a wife, you make sure that morals are there, compatibility. But if you're like, oh, I'm just having fun, hey man, let's go to Disney World. Like, you feel me?
Right, right. Okay. I
Let's
get
go to Dubai real quick. I'm with it.
I get what you're saying. My bad there, L Boogie. You're right about that. Some of the most tastiest treats I ever had came from the confection section at the grocery store. I love what we call apple fritters. I love them. I love them, especially with some coffee or some grapes. I get whatever grapes that are in season. When I was married, when my wife went shopping or we went shopping together, both of us knew not to leave that grocery store without some grapes. It was going to be a problem.
I do like them grapes, especially the seedless ones.
Seasonless grapes. I try to stay away from them, but they are a little bit sweeter because they're. I'm more of an organic kind of guy. I live out in the country, so kind of grow them a little bit myself here in South Carolina. But let's continue.
Yeah.
Has every time she's around you. If she consistently feels respected, relaxed, emotionally safe, and genuinely enjoys your company, that feeling becomes associated with you. Perhaps that's why some relationships seem effortless from the outside. It isn't because those couples never face challenges. It's because they have created an environment where both people enjoy being together instead of constantly trying to prove themselves.
And let me give you a prime example of that. Have y'all ever seen Denzel and his wife together? They flow. Michelle and Barack Obama, they flow.
Yeah.
Those folks look like they were supposed to be together.
Yeah. Denzel's always talking good on his wife too. That's true.
Always, always, always.
Yeah. That is a fact. Yeah. You won't catch
Right,
him not talking good on his
right,
wife. Yeah.
right. And you're not going to tell me that that's not been any problems in their relationship. They've been together for a long time, so I'm sure they've had some difficulties. But you'll never look at it when you see them out in the public. You never see them as a couple that might have had some problems.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. I agree.
Let's go.
At the end of the day, beautiful women don't simply remember what a man said. More often than not, they remember how consistently he made them feel, and that emotional memory often shapes attraction far more than men realize. If there's one lesson I hope every man takes away from this conversation, it's this. Stop trying to become the man every woman wants and start becoming the man the right woman naturally respects. Those are two completely different goals, yet so many men spend years chasing the first one without realizing it can never truly be achieved. No matter how attractive you are, there will always be someone with a different quality that another woman finds appealing.
What?
No matter how much money you earn, someone else will always earn more.
What?
No matter how confident you become, someone will always have a different personality that
What?
captures another woman's attention. If your confidence depends on being the best in every category, you'll spend your entire life competing in a race that never ends.
You will never win. Because the book has not been written on relationships, not completely. They change from day to day. Just like the whims of a woman or the whims of a man, they change from day to day. I woke up with the intention this morning of doing this, doing that, but guess what? My idea changed. Let me go do this live right now. And that's the same thing in relationships. They're always changing. They're ever changing.
It's okay. So yes, yeah, but the good stuff she's saying. Like, which Manosphere people have you seen? Like, are you talking about like Fresh and Fit? Because I don't really know too much of
Don't
the.
the list goes long, man. The list goes long of the manosphere guys, or the manosphere, dare I say, the manosphere adjacent guys, I'll use that term too, that don't think like this, that would give me pushback. They would call me a simp for being up here reviewing this. You're agreeing with this woman. No, I'm not agreeing with this woman. I'm agreeing with the fact that what better way to be taught about women other than to learn from a woman.
Yeah, you see that one. I don't know. That one I don't know because
Oh,
oof.
what? Okay, let me ask you this then, bro. What can I
Yeah.
tell you about a woman that you would believe? Because constantly, although we are in different age brackets, we're in competition. So, what would I tell you about a woman that will make you win her favor?
I mean, I would think you could tell me a lot because you have a lot of
Mm-mm.
experience.
No, because if we're after the same woman, why would I tell you all the good, man? I'll be, man, she ain't shit. You don't want to get involved with her, man. You don't want to do that. No, I don't leave that one alone, bro. That ain't for you. You see
But
what I'm
you see,
saying?
I don't think we would be in competition because like if you my boy, you tell me I'm going for this girl, we disputed right there. Like who's going for her, you or me?
Right, but some cases that don't work. In a
Yeah,
lot of
I
cases,
mean that's just a bad friendship. I ain't
listen,
gonna lie.
right, right. A lot of cases that don't work, my brother. We're
Okay,
both men
yeah.
here. You know that work. You know that works. You and your partner done fell out over a young lady. I know I have.
I never have actually like if that's the way me and my boys work. Whoever claims it first, hey man, we all talk to whoever she gave more attention to. That's the one that got it. It's over. Like you just leave it alone.
Right, right. But and that's the key figure, who she chose to be with. So the other brother might think, or the other dude that's in competition with you, what he got that I don't got. So
Oh
again,
yeah,
what
yeah.
what information would I give you? And say if we were after this young lady on the screen right here, what good information would I give you to make you out rival me?
Um, I
None.
mean, so if she chose me, I could tell you the aura that
Right.
I have and
Right.
what I try to portray.
Right. Right. I wouldn't help you. I wouldn't help her choose you. I wouldn't big up you. You know what I'm saying? No, no, I'm not saying I would disrespect you, but if she was to ask me, what you think about my man right here? I don't know that nigga. I don't know him like that.
Oh, I see what you said. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, so me and my first sergeant, like we at the military. There's another dude that's going after a bunch of girls, and he's going
Uh,
after my first sergeant too. And she like, yo, should I talk to this
uh,
guy? I'm like, keep in mind, I don't like this dude, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know the dude, but I'm not
mhm.
gonna necessarily say anything negative about him. I do know he's a strong soldier. He does what he got to do. He's fit. I don't got nothing positive to say about him, but I do know all the metrics that are standard he has. So I'm gonna be honest. Like, do I recommend him? Absolutely not. But if you want to go for him, I can't tell you anything to dissuade you based on what you're looking for. That being said, the guy cheated on her, but you know.
Again, that's what I say. So who better to learn from about women than to, because there is, to me, you can have a woman friend. You can confide in
Mhm.
women without being sexually attracted to a woman. I have that
Yeah,
to right now. There's several women that
absolutely.
I talk to on and offline that I have no commitment to, or no, we're just friends. We talk about just about everything. But also
Um,
I know there's a line that I'm going to draw, that this woman that I consider a friend, I'm not going to cross that line of being, talking to her in a different way.
right,
You
yeah,
understand
you,
what
you
I'm
can
saying?
only get so close, yeah.
Right, 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 right. So let's go ahead and finish this out.
The men who are genuinely successful with women eventually stop playing that game. They stop comparing themselves to every other man in the room because they understand something far more valuable. Attraction isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity, emotional stability, and having a life that feels meaningful with or without a relationship.
Point blank. having a life that feels comfortable with or without a relationship. And I hate to
Yeah.
sound cliche as but this, if you don't love you, you can't love somebody else. Ain't that right, Jennifer? If you don't love you, you can't love somebody else. If you don't like you, you
Yeah.
can't you can't like somebody else. If everybody around you considers you disagreeable, chances are you are disagreeable.
Yeah, I will confirm that. That also goes both ways with people being in an unhappy marriage. As like, you're probably the problem yourself if you're just unhappy in a marriage because
Sure,
you know. Yeah,
sure.
no, that's absolutely, like, you can't love somebody fully if you don't love yourself fully. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next thing here.
A man who is caring, a man who is patient, a man who always listens, a man who never argues, a man who puts her first every single time. If you ask enough women what they're looking for, you'll hear those qualities mentioned again and again. And on the surface, they sound completely reasonable. But here's
How about it? Is that what y'all ladies look for? Let me go back and start this over. Here we go.
many women will tell you they want a good man, a man
What is a good man, ladies?
That's a good
who is
question. I
caring, a
like
man
that
who is
question.
Is it a man that's caring? Is it a man that's patient?
patient, a man who always listens,
A man that always listens?
a man who never argues,
A man who never argues?
a man who puts her first every
A man who puts you first every time? Those are pretty catchable qualities, wouldn't y'all say, ladies? He's caring, he's patient, he always listens to me, never argues with me, puts me first in everything he does. Well, let's go.
single time. If you ask enough women what they're looking for, you'll hear those qualities mentioned again and again. And on the surface, they sound completely reasonable. But here's where many men make a mistake. They hear those words and assume being a good man means saying yes to everything, tolerating every behavior, avoiding conflict at all costs, and constantly trying to keep a woman happy. Then they become confused when the very woman who said she wanted a good man slowly loses respect for them. So today, I'm going to share 5 reasons why many women don't actually want the kind of good man most men become. Before you disagree with me, stay with me until the end, because this is
Yeah, ladies, before y'all disagree with her, stay with her to the end. I know the beginning of it might sound a little rough. It might sound like she's attacking women. But let's continue. Let's give her a fair shake at this one. We're watching this just like with y'all. I'm watching this for the first time. So I don't know what she's about to say. In the interest of fairness, I thought my genuine reaction should be the same as yours.
Nah,
isn't
I'm
about
with
women
her. I
hating
ain't gonna lie to you.
All right. So far,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
men.
yeah.
It's about one of the biggest misunderstandings men have about female psychology, and understanding it could completely change the way you approach relationships. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Isabella, and on this channel, we explore female psychology, relationship dynamics, and the hidden truths that help men build stronger, healthier, and more respected relationships. If that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe, because every week we uncover the things many people think about, but very few are willing to say out loud. Now, let's begin with the first reason. As a woman, let me tell you something many women will never explain clearly. Being a good man is not the same as being an agreeable man. Those are 2 completely different things.
what about that? All right. All right. What about that, there, Lenny? She says, I'm feeling attacked already. Being a good man is not the same as being an agreeable man.
One thing many women are genuinely bad at is making the right decisions when emotions completely take over. We can see something that is clearly wrong and still feel tempted to do it anyway. Sometimes our emotions become louder than our judgment. That's exactly why many women don't actually need a man who agrees with every emotional decision they make. They need a man who can calmly look them in the eyes and say, "No, you're not doing that. It's a bad idea." Ironically, that no often earns more respect than 100 yeses.
What about it, ladies? This again, this is brand new to me. So I'm listening for the first time like you are. So one no sometimes is better than 100 yeses. What y'all think? One no is better than 100 yeses.
Yeah, I'm back. My fault. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, yeah, come on in. I hear you. I hear you. Jennifer says, if the man trusts her opinion, some men will even ask a woman her opinion on certain things. I agree, Jennifer. I think the best thing, especially if you're raising a family, I don't think any man should make a decision uh, just all willy nilly without consulting his spouse first, especially when it comes to finances, raising the children, or where they're going to live, or what kind of house they're going to live in. I think those are, he might have the, dare I use this word, the final say so, but I think that's something that you should respect your wife and opinion is because number one, she will be living there with you.
Yeah. I don't see. I think everyone should agree with that, but I do think if it's your woman that you're taking seriously, that you want a wife, is very different than like a random woman that you're dating. Because if that's someone you're wifing, you
Yeah,
respect her,
yeah,
you
it's
wanna, you know.
yeah. There's a difference between I mean, if I'm just dating someone, I'm not going to go out and buy them a house. No,
Oh,
I
100%, yeah,
no, hell no.
yeah. But some of them are gonna ask for it though.
He said, Negro Dama says, shaking my head. AI out here giving relationship advice. If you think this is AI, that's the problem with AI. It's hard to establish who's who and what is what. Everybody thinks that when you're reviewing something, it has to be AI. No, not everything, not every conversation, not every person is AI. I knew sooner or later someone was going to come in there and say, this is AI generated. What about this makes you think that it's AI generated? Her voice, my voice, or does she not have on? She ain't showing enough skin. She ain't showing enough neck.
I'm not gonna lie, it does look a little AI generated, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it being AI generated
No,
because if it's good information, it's good information.
that's right. If you needed a blood transfusion, would you take it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't see any problem even if it is AI as long as it's good information.
Right. But let's continue.
A man who is afraid to disagree because he doesn't want to upset a woman may believe he's being loving, but many women eventually see something very different. They see a
Now, just on shits and giggles, that Negro Damas, if this is AI, what is this AI saying wrong? Is it saying something wrong that we should not listen to or adhere to?
I'm not gonna lie, if it's AI, I'm a little more. I kind of prefer that a little more because it's less likely to have cognitive dissonance and internal logical disagreements because it'll solve
Mm,
it.
mm, good point.
I have no problem
It,
with
does,
it being
it,
AI.
it, it doesn't put, if it is AI, it doesn't put the human emotion in it, does it?
Yeah, but on topics like this, it's okay to not have human emotion because this is like a logical thing. That's like
Right,
this is
right.
what's going on makes sense. So
Right, it's right, which was it should be logical. Like I don't know if my man is in here, but a dude comes in every once in a while, calls himself logical assessment, and that's what this is. It's a logical assessment,
yeah, so
regardless
yeah,
of regardless of whether it's AI, whether it's whatever you want to call it. Is it speaking logically, or is she speaking logically?
yeah, exactly, yeah. That's what's important. Yeah, if it's yeah, that shouldn't be a problem, honestly.
Right, right.
Hey man, AI is rating half of these kids' essays, so hey man,
Okay, you got AI on the music charts right now. You got artists that
true, true,
are just AI artists.
true, yeah.
No, I do understand. Come on, Negro Damas. Are you playing me? Of course, I understand AI. I know it's if you prompt something, or if you go to Chat GPT or Gemini or these others, it pretty much tells you if you ask the right questions, the right answer. But it won't argue with you.
You could get chat to argue if you want, like
Yeah,
chat.
it can. I saw somebody the other day get checked by Chat GPT. As much as they try to convince Chat GPT that they were wrong, Chat GPT kept telling them, no, you're wrong. I didn't argue with them like that, but basically the words that Chat GPT was coming back to them when it was basically saying, you're 100% wrong.
Yeah,
Anton Daniels. Go over to his stream where he's arguing with the AI prompt.
yeah. Nah, I'll be arguing with my chat GPT all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I think my girl did something to it because it keeps on making fun of me. I'm like, yo, don't ever talk to me like that. It'd be like,
Well,
oh,
damn.
is this what you meant? I'm like, yo, you know damn well I misspelled it. Just put the right thing. Leave me alone.
Well, again, that's the thing with Chat GPT. Sometimes it might not give you the answer that you was expecting.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'll misspell elevator. It means, oh, did you mean to type elevate? Bro, stop playing me. Come on.
Right. Let's continue here. He says that this was AI was created with biases, but if you want to think it's not, everything is created. There's no person walking on this earth, sir, that it does not have some form of bias.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it being a problem of it being created with bias, because like it's like you could say this is my argument, make it logical.
And that's exactly what we're up here doing. You're not for everything that this particular, as they want to call it, AI or lady is saying. I'm not for or against everything, but it does open the door for logical discussion, which AI generally was created for. Negro Damas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Come on, man. Wrong guy today, bro. Wrong
Shout
guy
out to
today.
ChatGPT.
Right. Shout out Chat GPT and Gemini.
A man who is afraid of losing their approval. And the moment a woman believes you're afraid to stand on your own convictions, the way she looks at you quietly begins to change.
Is that not true, Negro Damas?
Yeah.
Is that not true?
That's a fact.
If a woman looks at you and she shows her that you lack confidence, that you lack skill, that you lack what's the word I'm looking for? Adventure. If you lack what's the word I'm looking for? Conviction.
Yeah. There's a thing, I don't know if you've seen it. I think it may have been on Joe Rogan. I don't really watch Joe Rogan like that, but it was a girl, her boyfriend was a boxer, and he like started to defend himself, and she said, yeah, I had to break up with him because how you defending yourself. I was like, hey man, but yo, it's a real thing though. Like, I do think that was an absurd example, but hey man, if they can see something, it gives them the ick, they gone.
Yeah. Let's continue.
The reason is actually very simple. Many women are looking for a man who can lead, not because they want to be controlled, but because they know emotions can sometimes cloud good judgment. Every woman has experienced moments where her feelings told her to do one thing while her logical mind was telling her something completely different. That's part of being human. This is why many women naturally admire a man who isn't afraid to say, no, I don't think that's the right decision. Notice I didn't say a controlling man. There's a huge difference. A controlling man tells a woman what to do because he wants power over her. A confident man tells her no because he's thinking about the consequences, even if she doesn't like hearing it in that moment. Many men are terrified of saying no because they think disagreement will push a woman away. So instead, they agree with everything she says. They support every decision she makes, even the ones they know are wrong. They avoid difficult conversations.
And that's how you become a doormat. Sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you got to disagree. Sometimes you got to say, hey, maybe as much as I agree with you on this one, no, we can't go down that road. No, we can't spend that. No, I'm sorry. As much as I would like to take you to this nice trip, we can't afford that right now. Don't put your. I'm not going to let you drive us off the cliff to keep you happy. I wouldn't do it.
Talking about a trip, I'm gonna say ever. Why are we going on there? Let's stay home, have fun. What are you talking about?
Right. We can think of something else less expensive. Let's not put ourselves completely out there. So sometimes either the woman has to say, no, that's not a good idea, or in some cases, the man has to say, no, that's not a good idea. No, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It has to work both ways in a relationship. In order for a relationship to thrive, she got to be able to say no sometime, and he got to be able to say no sometime. You can't go to one. You can't go to one-sided street like you'll see here on the placard that I put up there. One-sided expectations, unnecessary test of conditions. Unresolved responsibilities in the past, performative issues, all of those that we're seeing up here, these are red flags that a lot of folks should be looking for. If you're in a one-sided relationship with a woman, you put yourself there, or vice versa. If she always, or if she's always comparing you to somebody else, you put yourself there.
That'd be wild. That'd actually be wild. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the way we talked about earlier. If she's doing that, you better throw in the trash.
Yeah, it's time to leave. It's time to go.
Yeah, that's.
I hate to say it, but you had nothing done overly too impressive. There's a difference between having someone in the way back in the annals of her mind, or bringing him up, or bringing her up every time you say something. Well, my ex didn't do that, or my last boyfriend didn't do that.
Yeah,
That's not good. That's not good. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid she'll become upset, angry, or even leave the relationship. Ironically, that's exactly where many men begin losing a woman's respect. As a woman, I can tell you this: respect grows when a man has convictions. It grows when he can calmly stand on his principles without becoming emotional, defensive, or aggressive. It grows when his decisions are based on wisdom instead of fear. If a woman becomes angry simply because you respectfully disagreed with her, don't immediately assume you've done something wrong. Sometimes you're simply discovering whether she's capable of respecting a man who thinks for himself. Because the truth is, a woman who genuinely respects you doesn't expect you to agree with everything she says. She
Facts.
expects you to be strong enough to tell her the truth, even when it's difficult to hear. And
Facts. Sometimes I think that stretches out the respect ladder a whole lot more. I think your woman will respect you more, or your man will respect you more, if you tell them sometimes things that they need to hear.
Yeah,
Sometimes no is not the wrong answer. Sometimes yes is the wrong answer. Yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, especially damn well that's not gonna happen.
Right.
She kind of cooking on
that's
this
what leads
video.
us
I
to the
won't lie
second
to you.
reason many men completely
Right.
misunderstand women. The second reason many women don't want the kind of good man most men become is because many men misunderstand what women mean when they say, "I want a man who cares about me." They hear that sentence and immediately assume it means they should tolerate every mood swing, fix every emotional problem, and make it their full-time job to keep her happy.
Like I said, I know, ladies, it seems like she's attacking you, but this is more for the men to get an understanding of sometimes of what, again, I'm sorry, I can't fix everything. I'm sorry. Little mama, I'm not in charge of your happiness. Sorry, baby, I'm not in charge of making your day good today. Sometimes you got to do that for yourself.
That's true, yeah.
That is not what most women mean. As a woman, let me tell you something many women will never say directly. We don't want a man who loses himself trying to manage our emotions. If I'm having a bad day, I don't need you to panic with me. If I'm angry, I don't need you begging me to calm down. If I'm acting out of emotion, I don't need you abandoning your own peace just to make me feel better. What many women genuinely respect is emotional stability. A man who can calmly say, "When you're ready to talk respectfully, we'll talk. Until then, take the time you need." That kind of man immediately communicates something powerful. He communicates that he knows himself. He communicates that his peace isn't controlled by another person's emotions. Many men think constantly chasing a woman whenever she's upset proves how much they care.
Nope.
Unfortunately, it often communicates something completely different. It tells her that your emotional state depends on hers. Over time, that becomes exhausting.
Over time, that becomes exhausting.
Yeah, that happens very fast, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, she cooking. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No,
She
that's
did
that's what can I say? There's nothing I can insert in that to say she's wrong about, or give some pushback on. All I can do right now is agree with her.
Yeah, I would love to say, well, but I mean, she cooking. I can't even. Yeah.
A woman wants to know that the man she's with can remain calm when she's emotional. She wants to know that he won't lose his boundaries just because she's having a difficult moment. Caring for a woman is important, but sacrificing your self-respect every time her emotions change isn't love. It's emotional dependence. And many women lose respect for a man the moment they realize he no longer knows where she ends and where he begins. The biggest mistake many men make is believing that caring more will eventually fix everything. So when a woman becomes distant, they call more. When she's upset, they apologize even when they've done nothing wrong. When she pulls away, they chase harder. They convince themselves that if they just love her enough, understand her enough, or remain patient long enough, she'll eventually become the woman they know she can be. But that's rarely how attraction works. As a woman, I can tell you that many women don't respect a man who abandons himself every time they're having a mood swing.
There it is, that word respect again.
Yeah.
And this is what I say. This is coming from whether it's an AI woman or a human woman. It's still coming from the idea that a woman is telling me as a man, listen, every time I get mad, you it's not for you to fix. It's not for you to jump into to roll out the pity wagon. Sometimes let me do what I need to do. You can't fix every pop, every emotional swing. Every time I have a mood swing, your mood swing is in the same with mine. Come on now. But you're supposed to be the provider. You're supposed to be the leader, and you're supposed to be the protector. How that working?
Yeah.
How that working? If my emotions delicate to what's going on in the house, how that's working?
Be cooking.
In fact, the more you make her emotions your responsibility, the more likely you are to lose yourself in the process. You stop protecting your peace. You stop protecting your boundaries. You stop protecting your confidence. Before long, your entire life revolves around making sure she's okay. That isn't what most women are looking for. A woman feels safest with a man who knows exactly where he stands. A man who can say, I care about you, but I won't lose myself trying to fix what only you can fix. That's the kind of man many women admire because he isn't reacting emotionally, he's responding with maturity. Many women will even adjust their own behavior when they realize the man they're with isn't easily shaken by every emotional storm. Not because he's cold or uncaring, but
Steadfast and unmovable in some situations. I learned that as a young boy. Be steadfast and unmovable in some situations. You have to be. You can't give up ground. Go ahead.
I will say though that she said something that it gets kind of muddled up, and it's kind of hard for a lot of people to understand that she said you can't be worried about her emotions like that. But on the other side, is she also on the other video she also said her emotions are basically the most important thing to her. So it's like, you kind of gotta Goldilocks it.
Well,
It's pretty hard to do sometimes.
Well, I think the distinction in the two videos, one she's pointing out how the importance of being emotions, and then in this video she's pointing out how you can lose yourself due to these emotions. And she's not saying stop being a man. What I think she's trying to say is that you, as the man, you can't fix everything. There's some days I need you to be the strong one, and you're not going to be a strong man if every time I get mad or I get a wild hair up my ass, you follow my lead.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah,
What's up there, drunk monkeys? How you doing, good brother?
I'm not even gonna lie. Like I used to be reacting whenever my girl starts crying, but nowadays I ain't gonna lie. Like I like 1 in 3 times I actually change something, and it's like maybe because I mean if I know I'm doing what I gotta do, like if I'm like over at this girl's house to like get something done that I need to get done, she like, while you over at that girl's house, I'm like, man, don't you already know you know I'm putting in the work. This for us. Stop playing. Oh, get up. Hey man, I'm gonna call you after I'm done. Like, like if you think I'm cheating, it is what it is. I'm not. I show you all the work we was doing, and you will know. Ain't no way I was doing something else with the amount of work I had to put in. But I'll give you whatever validation that I can. But I'm not gonna let your emotions, ruin success for us, for me or for us.
I get you, and I think that's what she's trying to point out as well. What's up there, Dreadhead said? You can check out my man Dreadhead said tonight. Classic R&B jams, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3-4 hours of some great music from the decade, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The description for Classic R&B Jams Radio is down, and the link for it, I should say, is down in the description, or just go over to my channel and check it out from there. But said, have a great show tonight. Of course, I'll be listening. Of course, I had to take some time off last week into some family business, but we'll be back in full swing here this week there, my man. So I'll be checking you out later on tonight there. Let's continue.
Sounds good.
because he refuses to let temporary emotions dictate the direction of the relationship. The truth is, a woman doesn't want to become your entire emotional world. She wants a man who has his own emotional foundation, a man who remains steady when life becomes difficult. And once a woman realizes that your peace doesn't disappear every time her mood changes, she begins seeing you as someone she can genuinely rely on, rather than someone she constantly has to emotionally manage. The third reason many women don't want the kind of good man most men become is because many women deeply respect a man who is willing to walk away. I know that sounds uncomfortable, but stay with me. I'm not talking about a man who threatens to leave after every argument. I'm not talking about someone who uses silence, manipulation, or emotional games to control a woman. That's insecurity, not strength. I'm talking about a man who knows his value well enough to leave a relationship that no longer has respect. As a woman,
And that's it. And I agree with you again there, Jennifer. You can't fix everything. You're absolutely right. But to be cold and callous and uncaring at the same time, that could be a problem. And I think that's what she's trying to stress here. Don't go overboard because you can't fix everything. But at the same time, don't be a heel about it. Don't be an asshole about it. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, if it was wrong today, it's something I can do for you. Something I can do to make your day better. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a fact. I'm not gonna lie. You already know me. I'm a busy man. My girl be talking about some problems. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna need to know what's the problem. So while she talking, I could think of a solution. I'll probably put it in the background while she talking. She finna talk for 30 minutes, and I write out the solution. Then I get back to her. Yo, you know what I just realized? After you said all of that, I wasn't
Right.
listening, bro. I
Right.
let her talk.
Like sometimes that's sometimes the best thing you can do. And for me, I'm only speaking for myself. Sometimes the best thing you can do is listen.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is listen. Let her get it out. Let her vent.
Facts. Yeah, that's what it is half the time. It actually is, but oof.
let me tell you something many women won't openly admit. The moment a woman realizes that you will never leave, no matter how badly she behaves, the entire relationship begins to change. If she disrespects you and you stay, if she keeps crossing your boundaries and you stay, if she keeps making excuses for the same behavior and you stay, she slowly begins believing that there is nothing she can do that will make you walk away. And once that happens, many men unintentionally teach a woman that their standards don't really matter. Many men think staying through everything proves love. Sometimes
That's what I was talking about earlier, my man. Sometimes staying is not the best thing. When you have small children or you have children, being in a loveless relationship, being in an argumentative relationship, that's not good for you. That's not good for the wife. That's not good for the children. That's not good for the folks around you, because chances are, if a woman is in a bad relationship, if a man is in a bad relationship, his friends know about it, his co-workers know about it, her friends know about it, her co-workers know about it, and folks you don't know might know about it. Because folks are like refrigerators. Pull on it and somebody
I'm
will
dead.
open it.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like if it's a woman that you're marrying, you have kids with, you should have made sure she's a person you could work through issues with, and set up ways that's like, oh, if something happens, this is what we can do.
Right.
It's just like I don't understand. Like I think social media and everything, like it happened to my girl that all of a sudden she was like, oh, I see that this fat lady, her man does everything. She doesn't work. She just does makeup all day and takes care of her skin. I deserve that. I say, yo, you need to start looking at reality. Like, you all you deserve is what you earn. So let's not act like, don't be looking at social media, start thinking otherwise. Like, let's go back to church. You know, you feel me? Like, let's get off the social media, because I think that's what happens. But I think seeing the state of marriage nowadays, if you do get married, you absolutely must make sure you have ways to combat and work through issues, because if
Yeah,
you have
that's
kids, it's more money to live apart than to live together.
yeah.
So especially you
Uh,
got a lot of kids. Oof.
yeah, I get you, and I agree with that statement there. Said a lot of people learn about relationships through social media. Their first exposure is dropping in somebody's DMs, and to think about
Yeah.
the social media is, way back in the days of AOL, we even came up with a brand new term, catfishing.
Oh yeah. I did some catfishing back in the day. Oof, that was
Okay.
funny. I was a kid
Okay.
of my little brother. Oof, bro.
Catfishing. You
Yeah,
know, people as again, people faking it till they make it, until they get that first. Oh, wait a minute, you wasn't the person that this you.
yeah. Oof.
Yeah,
People be gullible. I ain't gonna hold you.
yeah, yeah.
That was
Uh,
hilarious.
right. Who catfish the most? There is a statistic out there for that.
I actually don't know. It
Men,
is men.
men
Yeah,
catfish the most.
I could see that. I could see
Yeah,
that.
men
'Cause
catfish the most.
yeah, I mean, I did. I could tell you that that was funny. That was
Mm,
real funny. Like
mm,
I was like 13, maybe 14. Oof,
mm,
that was hilarious.
mm. Here we go, folks.
Sometimes it does, but sometimes it simply proves that you're afraid of being alone. Women can often tell the difference. A man who knows he can leave doesn't stay because he has no other options. He stays because he chooses to. That is what makes his commitment valuable. Ironically, that is also the kind of man many women find easiest to respect. He doesn't beg to be loved. He doesn't negotiate for basic respect. He doesn't remain where he's constantly being dishonored. He knows exactly what he brings into a relationship.
I like to call that quiet confidence. That's what I call
Yeah,
that. I like to call that quiet confidence. When I walk into a room, I don't have to say nothing. It's not my height, it's not my stature, it's not my looks. Some men give off an aura, and
yeah.
women can pick that up. I'm not talking about pheromones. I'm talking about some men, some women give off an aura that you realize, like, okay, take for instance, in a restaurant, a woman comes into a restaurant, or let me take that back. And a woman comes into a barbershop. Woman,
Uh-huh.
I didn't say women's. A woman comes into a barbershop. No matter what the conversation it is, it's going quiet. You know why? Because she walked into that room with that femininity.
I feel that.
She walked in there with it. And men recognize that. And the same thing, the
Oh,
same way we can recognize a woman that's walking in her femininity, a woman can recognize a man with that silent confidence. He don't need to be the loudest man in the room. He don't need to be the flashiest in the room. And from my experience in life, that's the most time that I've experienced with women, not being the loudest one in the room, not being the flashiest one in the room, being that having that air of mystery about myself. And that's kind of why I do what I do on radio, as that air of mystery. Folks know me as a voice. When I'm speaking and I'm playing that smooth, relaxing R&B music that makes you want to get down to, I can be anybody you want. All you have to do is put my voice on whatever man you're looking for.
Oh, that is true. Now that I think about it, yeah, that definitely is true. But like, I think the way that the dating scene is now, a lot of women don't respect most men. But
Well,
in
well,
general,
well, well let me ask you then, my man. Do you think, Special Ed, do you think men give women reason to respect them?
um, so I would say like the thing you just described, the quiet confidence of a man.
Mm.
Like, I think that's respectable. I think just being a human, I mean, there's basic respect, but I think a lot of women don't even respect that quiet confidence anymore, just
I, I, I,
because.
I disagree with that. I think I think women do respect that quiet confidence. I really do believe that they believe in that idea of who's that quiet guy sitting in the back by himself. Everybody else being loud and boisterous. Who's the quiet cat over there? Wonder what he's thinking about. Wonder what he's doing.
So I'd say the good woman that you would want do, but most people
Hmm.
in general wouldn't.
Hmm.
But that's the thing. Most people aren't really moving with intention.
And that's
It,
that. That's exactly what I meant by that. There's some men that shop in the low budget, low rent district, expecting to
fair enough.
find a
Fair enough.
jewel, right? Expecting
Fair enough. I can't get
okay.
mad at that. Yeah.
What's up there, Sid? How you living, my man? Welcome in.
Hey, what's good?
Good, good. Your thoughts? Go ahead, Sid. I heard you, but I don't hear you now.
Yeah, I can't hear Meter anymore.
Yeah, I lost you for a minute there. So I don't know if you can hear us or not, but I can't hear you. There
No,
you
I
are.
can hear you. I
Oh,
can
you
hear
went out
you, but
again.
I'm hearing like multiple stuff, so I'm trying to straighten it out now.
Okay, okay. I'll continue to play that.
And because he knows his value, he also knows it's time to quietly walk away. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect. And many women admire that far more than men realize. But there's another side to this that many men never think about. A woman doesn't just respect a man because he can walk away. She respects him because she knows he doesn't need the relationship to survive.
Ooh,
There's a huge difference between a man who stays because he genuinely wants to and a man who stays because he's afraid he'll never find another woman.
that's called a shade tree. That's what
Yeah.
that's called. That cat, no, he had no reason to be there. You don't love him. Y'all have a sexless relationship. You don't like each other. You try to spend as much time. The only reason he's there because there's a roof over his head, or vice versa, there's a roof over her head.
Yeah. Just kind of sad,
Shit.
honestly.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I grew up in the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for real, everything that she says is true, but she's trying to put it in modern times. But there's one thing that all men know. No matter how old you are and where you at in a relationship, nice guys always finish last. The guys that don't care, the guys that don't give a fuck, the guys that will treat a woman like dirt, be the ones they love the most. Is when you try to be there for them, you try to do the right thing by them, you try to stand by them, you try to do everything that you feel that will make a relationship strong. They don't respect it.
Yeah, that's sort of thing I was talking about earlier. That it's yeah, it's the woman that you don't even really want, you know. But it is most women though. That's the thing. So
No, it's not most women, but I'm gonna be real with you. You know, I'm in my 50s. I didn't have women that I didn't care about that when I say love me to death. And then I didn't have women that I cared about that I tried to do the most for. Guess when I look in retrospect, who I should have stayed with. It's women that I didn't care about. Because some women, like for real, and it's not all women. I mean, you know, all women want a man that can be there for them. A man that
My bad
can,
there, folks. I
you know,
lost connection there. You guys still here?
yeah,
Can y'all
yeah,
yeah,
hear
we
me?
here.
yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
Lost connection. Is the thunderstorm went in on me, so I might lose connection from time to time. But y'all go ahead and continue what you were saying. Let me go on this link that we were listening to. I'll be right back.
All
Oh,
right. So a lot of women they want that perfect man, but when they get that perfect man, or they get a good man, I'm gonna say a good man,
yeah,
then you know they don't know how to act because when they don't
yeah.
have
They
to chase you no
disrespected.
more, when they don't have to, um, you know, do the things that women do because you're not demanding it, then they tend to treat you differently than a man that could possibly, you know, be the wrong one for them. And they don't look at him the same way they look at you. They look at you like a simp, but then they look at him like he's strong because he don't care. He can walk away. And that's something that they try to hold on to. And that's my experience. You know what I'm saying? From both sides of the fence.
Yeah, nah, I don't disagree with you at all. Honestly, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is nice guys finish last. Like, you know, if well, the thing is, nice guys aren't really exciting to them, and a lot of them aren't focused on finding a husband. So if you're focused on finding a husband, a reliable dude that will take care of your kids, and that when you're sick, he's gonna have your back. When things aren't well, he's gonna be there. He's not gonna leave. Then you would be looking for the nice guy, but if you're young, you want to experience the world. Hey man, that bad dude that's unstable, you know, what you call it, spontaneous, bro, spontaneity. That's you want a young girl, you got to be spontaneous. Like if you be confusing, you aloof, they don't know what's happening next. They living in a movie and they love it, but that's not really practical for a long term loving relationship.
No, it's not. But the problem that a lot of these women have is, and this is when, I made the comment about social media. Social media then messed it up, for
Yes,
everybody.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because I call it 9 degrees of separation. Back when I was coming up, if you met your girlfriend, you met her through school, friends, family, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now you can meet a woman all the way across the world,
Yeah.
and they can meet you from all the way across the world. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Long as
it's
they
no
feel into it.
boundaries no more. So what happens is a lot of these women, they get on social media, right? And they look at shows like Bad. I don't watch none of this crap, but they look at shows like Baddies, Real Housewives, or whatever, and they
Yeah.
think that this is how
Sex in
relationships
the
are
City.
supposed to be. This is how women are supposed to act, and that's not true. And when they
Yeah.
apply it in the real world, you know what I'm saying? People get locked up, people get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People people go down. And they, a lot of women don't understand that what you see online and on social media is not real. Not everybody has a house. So, or a mansion, or a $100,000 car. You know what I'm saying? Some guys just work regular 9 to 5s,
Most.
but they pay the bills.
Yeah. Respectable man.
Yeah. And a lot of women don't understand that. So, if you look online, right, and you see, and for real, and I think that Kevin Samuels pointed this out perfectly. You had a lot of women that went on this show saying, "Look, I want a man that makes 6 figures
Oh
and blah blah
yeah.
blah."
Rest in peace.
You bring into the relationship 5 kids by 5 different baby daddies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was telling them, and this is what pissed a lot of women off about him. You know, he was telling the truth, like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, you bringing baggage, and a guy that's making 5 figures is not finna invest in other people's kids.
Yeah.
Man that's making over $100,000 a year is not
Right.
going to invest
Let,
in other
let, let
people's
me
kids.
play let me play devil's advocate in that particular, because I hear that a lot, about the stepdaddy. Now, here goes here goes this. Before y'all decided to get into that relationship or whatever, say you meet the young lady at the club or the grocery store, wherever you meet her at. One of the questions gonna come up sooner or later: do you have children? Right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And once she says, "Yeah, I have children," what's usually the next question is, "How many children do you have?" And she might say one, two, or how many other children she has. And the conversation goes on from that, and you continue in that relationship. Is that her fault?
No.
I mean, it's not her fault, but it's her responsibility. And if you go for it, it becomes your
How is
responsibility. And there's
how,
yeah.
right? Right. That's exactly what I mean. So I hear these guys complain about being in relationships, as I call them, these ready-made families. But you walking into this ready-made family because at some point in time, if you didn't have to, let's say it like this, the G2, to find out everything about this woman before you decide to settle down with her, whose fault is that?
No, I
Yeah.
get what
If
you're
you
saying.
jump into it, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I'm a clown you
No, I
personally.
get what you're saying.
Right.
But the point I'm making is nowadays, because I've been in that situation. Like, my oldest daughter, mother, when I got with her, she already had like 4 kids. My youngest daughter was the fifth one.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I raised them. So at the end of the day, I still get respect from them, even though I have 2 biological kids of my own from somebody else. But I still
Mm,
had the respect of those kids, because at the time that I raised them, it was different than now. nowadays
So let me ask you,
that
sir, do you
women
think they respect you? Do you think they respect you because of that you were with their mother, or do you think they respect you because you raised them as if they were your own children?
they respect me because I raised them as if they was my own.
Right. So I don't I don't think the woman has anything to do with the level of respect that you raise them. I think that's a yeah, and to me you cheated yourself with that one.
No, not really,
Damn.
because I was no for real. I was the situation. I can explain it,
You
but
ain't have to say it
you know what
like
I'm
that. I
saying.
mean, damn.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, I can explain it, but I was in a
Yeah,
situation where
I'm gonna mute
at that
because I'm gonna
time
be
I
laughing for a
couldn't.
couple of minutes.
No, hold on,
I,
bro,
I didn't
because
mean
I couldn't have kids.
I didn't mean right. I don't mean that in a bad way. What
I
I'm
couldn't
just
have
saying is I
kids,
think you
and
right.
I had a medical condition where I couldn't have kids. I was sterile for a very long time in my life,
Oh, I'm sorry
so
about that.
it was easier
Okay,
for
I see
me
what
to
you're
do that. But when
saying.
I moved on and I had my own children, which I do have to this day, and I have raised my kids. Okay, see, it's a
Amen.
difference. When they mother decided that she wanted to be other places, I raised my kids. My youngest daughter graduated from high school this year because I made it so that she can graduate. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference.
Amen.
Now, the point I'm
Right.
making is that you get a lot of these women nowadays that only want men to take care of their kids, but they want these men to have a certain income. They got standards that are unrealistic. See, my oldest daughter, mother, she didn't have unrealistic standards. She took me as was, and I did what I had to do to take care of my family. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
All right. Here's a fair question from a fair statement from Jennifer. It says, so we don't end up with partners with a lot of kids. Bet you can't tell Future's baby mamas them that. He
Definitely.
got a he got a ass of kids. Who is another one? Don't Little Wayne got an ass of kids?
Yeah.
Elon Musk got an ass of kids.
Oh, what is that
But
dude name? Black
I would
dude
say,
from
you talking
Wild and
about
Out.
Nick, yeah,
Nick
Nick
Cannon. Yeah,
Cannon
Nick Cannon
Cannon,
got
yeah.
Nick Cannon got like
got an
15
ass,
kids.
right, got an ass of kids. So I guess what they're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's the same way, we as men expect accept our children. We expect y'all, if you want to be with us, this is a package. The kids come with the mama, or vice versa. The kids come with the daddy. If you're gonna be with me, you're going to treat my kids as if they are yours. If you can't do that, then it's best that we bow out now.
And that's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. That's the
now
thing that he's saying.
the
Yeah,
standards for today is, you got these women with 4 and 5 kids saying, look, I want a man to make $150,000 a year. Where you gonna find him at? You go to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Nothing against my Atlanta people. I lived in Atlanta, but you go to Atlanta, the only dudes that's making that kind of money is hustlers and gay people, gay dudes. So where you gonna find $150,000 man at?
I'm gonna get out of that.
Realistically.
Well,
Yeah.
again, I understand. But it's all about location and environment and who you put yourself around. Again, if you're shopping for a high value man or woman, you got to put yourself in them high value particulars. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think you can go into those situations faking
you
it
have
till
to
you
be
make
high
it.
value. Well, you cannot
Yeah,
be,
that's what I'm saying.
on Section 8 and food stamps and talking about I want a high value
But
man.
but
You know,
that's the point. That's the point of this entire stream. There's folks on these YouTube streets that saying that they are high value men that expect this. They expect women to bow down with you, but you're not. You're just that average run of the mill guy you two fellas. No disrespect saying that, but some of these men are getting on there and saying, since I make all the money, she got to bow down to me. I expect her to be fit, feminine, and friendly. That's all I need from her.
but my thing is he paying all the bills though? The guy that says this.
Regardless of whether he is or isn't, whether he is or isn't, some of them will say that. I don't want my wife to work. Okay, if you don't want your wife to work, then there's some expectations. You go here. Another prime example. I like to use this: the bird of paradise, right? The bird of paradise does this little dance for the woman, but before he does that, he builds a nice place for the woman, for the female bird of paradise. She's a plain looking bird, but the male bird of paradise, he has some nice plumage, some nice feathers, and he does a nice little dance for her. But before he does that, he gets some place for her to nest. And a lot of men don't do that. They put the carriage before the horse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say if an average dude is saying it, that's a little crazy because like an average dude not making that kind of money. What you said,
Exactly.
there are high income earners, but they're not necessarily high value men. It's probably a
Right.
cheap. Okay, so you know my thing of it is that so okay, so the high value man thing at the end of the day is money. Like I feel like you could say morals and stuff like that, which are the most important thing, but it's money in terms of dating because you know if you have to pick between a man that could actually provide like the stuff you want versus the one that can't, the one that can is invisible. Like he's
All
literally
right. I'll give.
invisible. Like it's money
I'll
at
That
the
was
end
give.
the
of the
whole
day.
point I
Right.
made earlier. That was the whole
I'll
point I
give you.
made earlier.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give
yeah,
you.
yeah. I agree with you.
I'll give y'all two prime examples of high earners that are not high value men: Donald
Okay.
Trump and Elon Musk.
I mean, I mean, okay. So can you explain why you say that
You
they're
high
not high
value
value?
idiot.
Yeah,
Right. They got money.
yeah,
They
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 got
do.
got
money,
money. They
but
ain't
that's
got the
it.
brain.
They ain't got the brains. They don't really have to look. All these women in the United States of America, Donald Trump had to go to the immigrant. Elon Musk got baby mamas all over the world. He's not a
Okay,
high value man. Having money does not make you a high value man.
But you know, the problem with both of them is that, you know, it's one thing if you had the money and then, you know, you are a compassionate person, a compassionate man, a man that values family, you know what I'm saying? And neither one of them do. I mean, you
Okay,
got to think.
I'll give you an
Remember when Trump
example
came
of
into
a
the
high.
office? Remember when Trump came into office? What was Elon Musk doing?
Yeah.
He had his youngest son on his shoulder. He would walk around with his youngest son on his shoulders because he felt that if somebody was going to take a shot at him, they'd kill the kid first.
That was why.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
But that's
Every time you seen him,
but that's a high
he
value
had
man.
that boy on his shoulders.
I
Right
did
now,
not know that
I'll
was the
give you
reason.
let's give you an example of a high value man. Barack Obama
Right.
is a high value man.
Absolutely, I don't think it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I got a question. Okay, can you define what you're saying a high value man is? Because I don't like Trump or Elon Musk, but I do think that they are
Right.
still high
It's
value men, even though
high
I don't agree
value.
with any of their
High, high,
morals.
high value is this: they have moral standards. They take care of their family. They may have money does not make you high value. So let's take that out of the equation. I think a lot of people make that think because you got a lot of money that makes you a high value man. A high value man takes care of his family, takes care of his community, shows compassion, and is strong around other people. He doesn't look for a pat on the back. He does what he does. He's quiet. He's unassuming. That's a high value man. He doesn't scream. He doesn't need to scream to be noticed. That's a high value man.
Okay, so I agree with everything that you said, except without money. Because how can you take care of your family and community without money?
You can take care of your family just because you got an excess of money. That's what the idea of a high value man is, to have an excess of it. 6 figures. We know that
Right.
the average black man does not make 6 figures. We know that.
So, okay. So, how much money are you quantifying is enough to take care of your family? Are we saying like the average that we looked up before? Like, are we saying like 50,000, 60,000?
Again, if you say the average to raise a kid from 0 to 18 costs you about $44,000, $50,000 during their lifetime, just little knickknacks. So you got 4 kids. How much are you spending?
About 200.
Yeah. So again, the average high value man makes what? Let's go on the low. Let's go on the low 42. Let's go on the high again 69. But that
Okay,
just
okay.
because he makes $69,000 a year, that still doesn't necessarily make him a high value man. Or just because he makes $42,000 a year, that does not lessen his value as a man.
Okay, so I agree with everything you said, and I do love your definition of high value man. But I do think, in terms of dating, to be valued by the general population of women that are seeking partners, it is money at the end of the day. I do agree in terms of like a good husband and a good father. I think that's what you described as a high value man. That's what it is, and I don't think anybody could debate that really, because I think that's what a high value man should
Right.
be. But in terms of dating, when they say high value man, they're really talking about the guy that women are competing for, and women aren't really competing
This
for the average Joe that takes
they,
care of his family and loves his community.
they
you
see
know
those
who
men that lead with their wallet. That's what they see.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
you know who are high value men in the hood.
yeah.
Do you know?
Nipsey Hussle, I would
Oh
say
no,
he
no,
was
no,
a.
No, no,
I
no,
would
no,
say
no.
no, no, no. I
Nipsey
was
was.
asking. No, no,
We're
I'm only
gonna keep
29,
it
so
street level.
you know.
We're gonna keep it street level. We're gonna keep it
Don't,
street level.
no, I don't know. No, I don't know a high value man in the hood. No, I don't.
No, tell me. I don't know.
Well, this is what women in the hood, and this is what you got to understand, right?
Well,
Because
wait.
a
I
lot
got
of
a
these
question,
women,
quick. Do you have the same
go ahead.
definition of high value man as boss, or do you have a different definition just because you know?
No, I'm finna explain it to you, and this is
Okay,
where
but
everything get misconstrued.
okay.
Because you know, I'm gonna tell you, I grew up in the projects, right? So
Hmm.
who was the guys that was getting all the chicks? It was the dope dealers. It was the guys that was hustling. The hustlers. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
and them the guys that when you looked at them and you said, "Man, dude got kids by old girl, this chick, that chick, that chick." You know what I'm saying? He got all these kids by all these different chicks. And I ain't saying it to mean women. I'm gonna say women. Okay, let me fix that. But he got all these kids by all these different women, right?
Hmm.
And these are the guys that these women went after. They didn't go after the guy that worked at Burger King. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go after the guy that worked at McDonald's, or the guy that, you know, you know, fixed on cars. You know what I'm saying? Now they did have girlfriends, don't get me wrong. But when you look at the relationships that the guy that worked at McDonald's had, or the guy that fixed on cars, or the guy that drove the bus, they had more meaningful relationships, because even though they was not the dope dealers, you know what I'm saying, they were high value men because they took care of their family, they took care of business.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
disagree.
I agree. I'll
You
co-sign
disagree?
that. Yeah, but
No,
I mean,
I disagree.
I
I disagree with one thing. Now, if he's out, doing the 9 to 5, going to the job or whatever, but standing out on the corner or hustling rock or selling weed, that's not high value.
No, that's what I just said.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
I
exactly what
thought
I said.
I thought you were
No,
saying
I said
that
that that's
the
what
high value.
women considered high value men to be, was the guys that that lived the street life, compared to the guy that
Well,
actually went to work.
Yeah, no, you
well,
guys said
again,
basically the same
it
thing. They're
goes,
like the man that takes care of his
but
family. That you guys
Right.
both described as the high value man. Yeah, you guys were saying the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm saying the same
yeah,
thing.
no, there's a difference. When I say that when I read the definition of the high value, taking care of your family, you cannot, because you're putting yourself in jeopardy either for death or jail.
Yeah, and that's why when you think about, like, when I came
That's
in,
short
what
term.
was what was the lady saying, that the men could walk away? Those are the men that walk away, not the men that what I'm saying, that you know, and I'm putting myself in that situation because I've raised my kids. You know what I'm saying? Through hell and high
Hmm.
water. I didn't been through everything. So I know what a high value man is, because my kids never had to want a need for nothing, even when I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes you high value. It's not the fact
Yeah,
that you can go out here and sling dope And because the problem with them guys is that, yeah, a woman may say, okay, well, this is my dude, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he may pay the bills, but you guess what? He paying somebody else's bills too.
It's short. That's right. It's a short term fix. And what if
If he
he
want
don't
another
sell all the
woman bad
product and
enough, and she say, "Look, I need these red bottoms. I need my bills paid. I need my rent paid," and
that's
he want her bad enough, yeah,
but
he will do it.
but wait a minute. But what are you gonna say first? I got to re-up first.
I mean, but you know what? This the thing. Like guys like them, they don't involve the side chicks in their business. You know what I'm saying? They just provide. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew, like I said, when I said earlier that the guy had kid by this woman, kid by that woman, and he probably was taking care of all his kids. Not all people like that don't take care of their kids.
That's possible, yeah.
Right. And let me respond to this. Atlanta, I'm like you. No disrespect to what Seth was saying, but what that concept that he described is foreign to me, because I didn't grow up in that. And no disrespect when I say this, Seth, but I didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with the guy with the Cadillac. Now I did grow up, with the guy, the big man on campus was the guy that was able to drive to high school at 16, 17. He might have got all the chicks or whatever. But we wasn't, we wasn't looking at the guy that was 19 years old. The only reason he was still at school because, he was coming at a. But I understand the concept of what is a high value man. But again, I think if you're putting yourself in some kind of mortal jeopardy, either through jail or whatever to get your hustle on, and eventually that's a short term fix. High value men wouldn't put themselves in a short term. But and then also to say this, let's say,
yeah,
I know, but I say this, thing is this, it's pretty sharp. There's some men that shop in the low budget district, and there's some women that shop in the low rent district. That's just bottom line to it. So it's a matter of your environment.
I wanted to respond to one of the comments. I don't think he was saying a hood mentality. He was just saying you could be a high value man even in the hood. He wasn't saying it's a hood mentality.
You can't be.
What I'm saying is, look, let me tell y'all.
You can absolutely be high value man, but it's not a hood mentality. It's just he was in the hood, and you can be high value man in the hood.
I have a hood mentality. I'm not going to apologize for that. I have a hood mentality because when I say I grew up in the projects, I grew up in the projects in Chicago. I grew up in some of the worst projects in Chicago. Okay, and when you think about places like Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty much, all the same. So when I grew up, I grew up with a hood mentality. Now, that don't mean I'm hood, you know what I'm saying? But it do mean that I've seen it. And I'm not making no apologies about it, like for real. And she's right. A lot of just like you, Music, you didn't grow up in that mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. I grew up in tall, damn near skyscrapers of projects or a row house,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And when you don't have that upbringing, and where I grew up at in Chicago, believe me, they recognized you from what block you was from. So if you was from a certain block, then they knew who you were. They knew who your mom was. They knew everything about
you. I get exactly.
That's how isolated that was. Yeah. So I mean, the thing that I'm saying is that, when I speak from my experience, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of ways, even when I went to other places, I've seen that it may not have been exactly the same, but it was always similar situations. I'd have been to Arkansas. I'd have been in Little Rock, Arkansas, where I've seen the same thing.
I just seen Jennifer's comment. You don't gotta make six figures, but he could own his own business. Why do you have to own your own business to be a high value man? You could just be someone that just works and takes care of his family. You don't have to own your own business. It's hard to be a business owner. Yeah, but I do get a question for both of you. you both describe a high value man as someone that takes care of their family. How do you describe a high value man that's single?
Well, see, those are the men.
Again, you know, there's.
I didn't mean to
Yeah,
cut you off, music.
Again,
yeah.
I,
It's a tough question. I ain't gonna lie, because I don't even have a good answer myself.
Again, I think morality plays a point. Let me just say this: someone told me a long time ago, and this is I'll debut this now. But somebody told me a long time ago, you got to be a member of the 4-H club. What's the 4-H club? If you went to school, you know it's like the little horoscope thing, but they switched it up on me. They said 4-H's is this: you have to be honest.
My fault. Can you say again? I think I lost connection or something like that.
Yeah, he faded out. He'll be back.
Okay,
But I will say this, okay?
yeah.
Jennifer, and you know what, Jennifer? We might be related. My last name is Lewis too, so you know what I'm saying. But that's neither here nor there. She said a high value man doesn't have to be earning 6 figures, but a man who has his own service business, own a little company, takes care of his family, fix the pipe under the sink, fix the car, etc. You know, this is the thing. All right. Not everybody is meant to be a business owner. Not everybody is meant to I'm trying to phrase it the right way. Not everybody is meant to, you know, be
their own boss.
the person that you know that got a job that's making, you know, $500-600 a day. Some people work and they make good money, but they make enough money where they can pay the mortgage, the rent, the bills.
Absolutely.
You know, you know what I'm saying, put food on the table. You know, a lot of stuff. And a lot of these guys was doing it, and they girlfriends and wives didn't even have to work. All they girlfriend and wives had to do was just make sure that the food was cooked, the house was clean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's old school stuff, but you know, back in them days, you know what I'm saying, that's how a lot of black families operated until they decided to break up the black family.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that a lot of people don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? The welfare system and the housing system broke up the black families, because when they started allowing people to get this stuff, and believe me, these white folks was getting it for a long time. When they started allowing the black folks to get it, guess what? You couldn't have the man in the house, or you know, we're not gonna pay your rent. You know, or you couldn't have a man in the house, and you couldn't apply for these food stamps. This is why you see a lot of families that was broken up back in them days. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of these guys didn't have a lot to go on, so you know, they turned to, you know, being in the streets. They turned into hustlers, and they was making, you know, doing what they had to do to keep money in their pocket.
Yeah, you know what's actually funny? My parents, like when they had me, they was broke. What they had to do, my mom had to go to the city and say, "Oh, my husband abandoned us." Of course, dude was in the lobby sleeping. But
Right.
if she didn't say that, they wouldn't have helped her.
But I mean, it's even true to this day, because if you are, let's say, you getting public housing,
Yeah,
you know, and you got your guy. Look, dude can have a good job. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of these public housing, you know, units, you know, the rent is cheaper than what you would pay in actual rent. So you know, hey, this guy, it's nothing for him. You know, he go to work, and you know, your rent like a couple $100. Hey, I got that. You know what I'm saying? Your light bill, a couple hundred, you know, $100 some $90. I got that. You know. And then when they time to do an inspection, guess what? She got to hide all his clothes.
Yes.
And him, look, you can't be here because you know they finna do an inspection.
Exactly.
Because if he get caught there, she get put out too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, y'all starting to sound like the manosphere over there. So let me get back to let me get back to what I was saying. let me get back to what I was saying. No, like I said, someone told me a long time ago, You got to be member for each club. You got to be first and foremost. You got to be healthy. Keep yourself healthy. Number two, you have to be humble. Okay. You got to be honest, right? And you got to have hope that everything that you do in life rubs off on somebody in a positive way. Health,
Exactly.
honesty, hope.
Exactly.
All of those make a difference. You got to be a member of that. If you're lacking one of those as a man, you need to pick that up. Again, make sure you keep yourself healthy. Make sure you stay humble. Make sure you be honest with the people that you're around you, and always have hope that what you're doing is the right thing for folks. There's no way around that. If you're lacking one of those H's, you need to go pick it up somewhere. Those are the most important, four important things that any man should be living by. Any man, regardless of whether you think you're a high value man, if you're at the bottom of the barrel, bro, rusting. I guarantee you, more women will respect you if you follow those 4 categories of where to be and how to put yourself into. Again,
But
keep yourself healthy.
It goes back to something that I was saying earlier. And I'm not saying this about all women, because there are women who, could look at a man and say, look, this man works hard. He do what he got to do. I don't have to worry about nothing. He got this. You know what I'm saying? And there's women that do respect that. But then you got a lot of these women that watch the social media stuff and think that every man should drive a Bentley or a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? If he driving a Toyota Corolla, they don't want to have nothing to do with him. And he
again,
could be
fellas,
he could be richer than everybody.
Right, but again, fellas, I don't want to say this and sound mean, but there's some people live in delusions of grandeur. That's just bottom line to it. Let's be honest that in our communities and in our neighborhoods, not a whole bunch of us run around with Lamborghinis and whatchamacallit. So for those who live in that fantasy life of thinking they're gonna run into that high value dude, if you're willing to compromise your morals and your status and your well-being over some dollars or God, this is 6 figures, wait till that knot go down on your head on Tuesday. You'll change your mind.
Wait, hold up. Yo, I got a question. Yo, Jennifer,
Sure.
you should join the live. You saying feeding your family is not a high value man. That's interesting. Yeah, I want to hear what your opinion is then, because what's more important?
I want to know what her opinion is too.
Yeah, because
she says,
I'm telling y'all, it's money. They all want money. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jennifer, I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, what if this guy that you're talking about is a manager at McDonald's? I'm not talking about the guy that flipped the burgers. I'm talking about the guy that runs the McDonald's, because you got a lot of people that work at McDonald's that make 6 figures just being managers.
Yeah. Hey, but I'll say if he's working man, he doing what he can. Yo, that's a good man. He high value. If he working to build something to provide for his family, don't call him low value just because he's on his way up. Like, that's a high value mentality. That's my opinion personally.
A high value man to me is somebody who will sacrifice for his family.
I'll co-sign that.
Yeah,
he will sacrifice.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
You got kids, and keep in mind, like, in this day and age, these kids, as they get older, they want name brand stuff. But if you can,
that's not happening.
Make your kids happy. If your son want a pair of Jordans and your daughter want an iPhone, and you make that happen, and
they want a good man, a man who is caring, a man who is patient, a man who always listens.
Let me pause this. Let me get to where we were at here, fellas. I know this storm is moving in rather quickly here, so let me try and get this. Yeah, let me get through this. Let's go back to this. I think we were right about here. Let's go right here.
Because he genuinely wants to, and a man who stays because he's afraid he'll never find another woman. As a woman, I can tell that women notice this much faster than men realize. We pay attention to how you react when things don't go your way. Do you immediately panic? Do you start begging? Do you start negotiating for attention? Or do you remain calm because you know your worth isn't determined by whether one woman chooses you or not. This is where many men lose themselves. They make one woman the center of their entire world. They slowly stop seeing their friends. They abandon their hobbies. They lose focus on their purpose. Their happiness begins depending entirely on how one woman feels about them that day. Without realizing they've handed over all of their emotional power, that's never attractive. A woman feels much safer with a man who has options in life. I'm not talking about having 10 different women waiting for you. I'm talking about having an abundant mindset. A man whose life is full of purpose, goals, friendships, family, and self-respect is far less likely to tolerate
Now, I think I didn't hear the entire conversation that you guys were having, but I'm gonna lean to the side what Jennifer was trying to point out to y'all. And I don't think she was being mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, but I don't think you were being mean to say that a man that's working at McDonald's is high value. I think there's a line there where we may have been talking about line cooks versus managers. Of course, there's some folks that work at these fast food restaurants that make some pretty decent dough. But again, I think what the idea is of what high value men, again, someone that's purpose, goals, friendships, family, and respect. Now, I'm going to pull this goals out of here for a minute. And again, just someone that's not going to work to do what they have to do. But as 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, I would see you working at McDonald's. But as a grown man, not unless you're in that management position, I shouldn't see a 4-year-old man flipping burgers. You're not goal. You're not goal oriented. At 40 years old, you're still at McDonald's. You really can't take care of your family flipping burgers at 40 years old at McDonald's. And I think that's what Jennifer was trying to point out. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer. That's where you were trying to go with this.
I think she's saying it's about money. I'm a dying.
Again, correct me. Right. I can understand. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think that's what the subtle nuances that she was trying to point out. I do believe, trying to give the benefit of the doubt here.
Hey, the way I see it, I mean,
right. See again, right. She said I wasn't being mean. I was talking about the one flipping burgers is not high value, and I agree with you. A 40-year-old man or a 45, 50-year-old man should not be at McDonald's, Burger King flipping burgers.
No, I totally agree with that. Those jobs are for kids. Like I get it.
Right.
And
right.
The other thing that I'm gonna say is that there's a lot of there was a lot of warehouse jobs, not too long ago where you can go and drive a forklift. Or
you can make pretty good money working in the warehouse.
You can make pretty good money doing that. I mean, for you to be stuck in a dead end job, I get what she's saying on that. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
we'll say this:
two of those words shot up at the top.
If that man is, let's say that's all he had, but he had a family to take care of, and he did it, and he took care of his family. I respect that. I can respect a 40, 50-year-old man flipping burgers if he, if that's all he got, and he can take care of his kids and he can take care of his house, keep his bills paid. Because everybody ain't fortunate, to move up the ladder, the economic ladder, like, a lot of people is programmed to believe. Everybody is not fortunate to do that.
Facts.
I agree. You're absolutely right. Not everybody through education or through some other kind of circumstances, they may not be able to go out and get that high-paying job, but that's understandable. But we're not looking at the broader picture. What I think of what I'm trying to point out here, and what I think what the young lady was saying. What I think it's all boiled down to is don't lose yourself in your identity of who and what you are to be trying to appease or to please someone else. In this case, she was directly talking to us as men. Don't lose yourself trying to be everything to this woman, because sometimes it's not going to go right. Don't run around calling yourself a high value man just to please someone. That shouldn't be your ultimate goal, to make money just to make one person happy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Or to make a group of people happy, because there are plenty of women that would appreciate a hardworking man, but we don't hear from them. That's the thing. So yeah, I agree with that part too. Like I'm not with it.
Right. But I think, folks, let me play a little bit more of this. I can hear the storm coming in a little bit thicker here, so I might lose connection. But I'll try and be right
Constant
back.
disrespect because he knows losing one relationship doesn't mean losing himself. Ironically, that's the kind of man many women value the most. Not because he's trying to make her jealous, but because she knows he's choosing to be with her every single day. That choice carries far more weight than a man who stays simply because he believes he has nowhere else to go. The fourth reason many women don't want the kind of good man most men become is because many men confuse having boundaries with enforcing boundaries. Those are not the same thing.
What?
Almost every man says he has standards. Almost every man says he won't tolerate disrespect. Almost every man says he knows his worth, but the real question is this: what happens when those boundaries are actually tested?
All right, go ahead, fellas.
Bro, what the hell is she talking about? What?
No, I know what she's saying, but
can you explain to us? I didn't get it.
I think that when you rewind it back and you listen to her say that, I can't paraphrase, but she was making the assumption that the guy would stand with the woman.
Okay.
I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. Yeah.
Wait. So what I heard is
he's
that
choosing to be with her every single day.
Well,
That choice carries far more weight than a man who stays simply because he believes he has nowhere else to go. The fourth kind of man most men become is because men confuse having boundaries with enforcing.
Okay, there it is on the screen. Many men confuse having boundaries with enforcing boundaries. Say it.
No, but when you rewind back, she said, "Look, he has no place else to go."
Well, that's what I was describing.
That's what I'm focused on.
Right. But you have to understand something. The purpose of her videos is directly talking to those type men, those men who kind of in this particular video, she's relying on just basically what I think she's saying is, even though you might be living with someone, still don't compromise yourself. I think that's what she's trying to say. Maybe
I get that. Because you got a lot of men that'll move in with a woman, and when she gets the trip, hey, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? He can go somewhere else.
Right, and that's what she was saying. Some men will stay because they literally have nowhere else to go, so they'll tolerate disrespect simply because they have nowhere to go. Whereas a man that has his own pride, has his own that, he will not tolerate disrespect. He will walk away. And I'm one of those men that will walk away. I don't tolerate disrespect.
Oh, I don't either.
Not me. I'm sorry. I don't care how.
Yeah,
I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good you are in bed. You're not going to disrespect me because I'm not going to do it to you.
But I'm going to tell you one more thing. See, one thing that my father taught me was have your own.
Got to.
Have
your own.
And
don't be one of them shade tree buddies.
I raised my kids in our own house. I put food on the table. I pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's with me kind of, ride the coattails a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm like that, because if they want to contribute, that's fine. But anybody that's been with me, that was never their problem. It was always on me. That's what I feel makes a man have value, because when a man can take care of everything and keep the weight of the world on his shoulders and still make it work, that's what makes you have value.
I agree with what you're saying, but again, these men think that if you make a certain amount of money, once you cross that plateau of making a certain amount of money, that automatically designates you as a high value man, and it does not.
But they only feel that because of the women.
No, sir.
Okay.
That is the teachings of their that was his teachings. You make the money first. Even in Scarface, in order to be important, you got the money, and then you get the woman. That's what Scarface taught us. That's what Kevin Samuels told them folks. Get the money first, and the women will come. That's
Wait,
what
but
Kevin
Samuels is a part of the manosphere, though.
Exactly. Exactly. Again, so that's my point. You're putting the carriage before the horse.
And I think the message that he gave to a lot of women, and I think that's the reason why a lot of women didn't like him.
Yeah,
is that exactly.
That's why a lot of women didn't like him, because you'll have women calling his show. And the first thing he asked them is, "How old are you? How much you weigh?" You know what I'm saying?
That's my favorite part.
Give me the first questions he asks.
Right. Again, those to me.
It's kind of
right. It's again. That's kind of. I can understand him asking a woman that if he was planning on dating her.
Yeah, but the reason he's asking is it's in reference to dating too. So it's kind of
it's in reference to
dateability.
Getting some women to look at life realistically.
I understand. Listen, I understand what y'all folks are saying, but again, both sides. Some of those men that Kevin Samuels over there teaching this to did not look at life realistically. They're fat, they're out of shape, they're men with titties, they got no hair, some of them are missing this, some of them missing that, and they still expect for the crown jewel of the women to pay them some attention just because they got money.
But I mean, so what Kevin Samuels was saying is that it's not that men should expect women to bow down to them because they have money. It's that a lot of women are just looking for guys to have money because they're not intentionally looking for a husband. Because if you're intentionally looking for a husband, money's not that important.
Every Kevin Samuels. I mean, and I've seen some where he went
off on the men.
Rode the men very hard.
For the same
reason. But it was mostly women. And you got a lot of women.
Listen, Kevin Samuels, he tried the men's cologne stick. That didn't work. Then he tried to talk to the brothers about what's going on in the hood. That didn't work. And once he found that niche, that if you talk badly to and about black women, that works. That's how Kevin Samuels became popular.
No,
but was he really talking bad to black women though?
No, in some cases he was. Okay, wait a minute. The reason why I say he was talking it, but he wasn't living it, because we know at the end of Kevin Samuels' life, he was not living the life that he was preaching. He had a bolted up car. His car. He was living in a hovel. Pretty much, he was paying rent somewhere else to somebody to live in a house in a room. He didn't have his own spot. He was behind on his bills with his landlord. So it was Kevin Samuels, in all actuality, a high value man, even by his standards.
I don't remember Kevin Samuels saying he was a high value man. I don't think that he said that. Did he say that?
Yeah, several occasions. Sure, he did.
I mean, I'm quite sure it came out. I never knew none of that about him.
See?
I do not recall him saying he was a high value man.
Sure. That's why they're calling him the Godfather, because he kind of said himself that he was the ladies' man, or say like if there was a business trip or something, what he would go find one of his girls, take them to the event, and by the end of the night, he'd have some business sold up.
So
is that a high value man?
So I remember him saying he was on his way to becoming a high value man, but I don't think he said he was a high value man. I know he said that he works with a lot of high value men, but he didn't say he was a high value man himself.
Okay, again, we can go back and forth with that, but I think if you can go pull up some of his archives, if you can go into TikTok, if some of them there, or some YouTube shorts, and if you scroll through them long enough, or you'll find one that he called himself and he considered himself a high value man. He said that he made the money. Wait a minute. He said that he made money. He said that he drove the best car. He said that he had the prettiest chick. He said that he hung around men of substance. But we now know at the end of Kevin Samuels's life, none of what he practiced or what he portrayed on that screen was the life that he was living.
It was all
No.
a lie. That's basically what you're saying.
It was all a lie. Right. It was all a lie. He was trying to fake it till he made it, but the group was caught up with him first.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? My thing is, I don't have an opinion for or against them. I think that the videos that I've seen, not showed, but that I've seen, have been him telling women to be realistic about
Yeah, that was his majority.
the things that they want in life.
But fellas, don't that work on both sides? Men should be realistic.
It does, but when he went off on men, he was very hard on men. If you see those videos,
listen,
I would say
listen. Wait a minute. Kevin Samuels lost all credibility with me from trying to help men when the first question out of his mouth to a man that came on the phone, do you have a big tallywhacker?
Oh yeah. That was no, but so he was trying to shame that dude because that dude had unrealistic standards.
Right, my point exactly. Of all the things you could have talked about, why would you mention his member? You could have shamed him on several things. Do you make this? Do you make that? Do you make this? How are you in bed? He did not literally have to ask that question that way.
Oh, okay. I will agree. That was a weird question.
Okay, I agree with that. I will agree with that.
That was a very weird question, but he was trying to illustrate to the dude that he's not at the top, and that as a man you can't expect it.
Right, I understand that wholeheartedly, but there's other ways of tearing somebody down without mentioning that tallywhacker.
I agree. I agree with you.
All right. I'm just saying. Let's go.
Boundaries. Those are not the same thing. Almost every man says he has standards. Almost every man says he won't tolerate disrespect. Almost every man says he knows his worth, but the real question is this: what happens? The woman, let me tell you something many women will never say out loud. A boundary that has no consequence is just words. If you tell a woman, I don't tolerate disrespect, but every time she disrespects, she eventually stops taking your words seriously. Not because she's naturally trying to disrespect you, but because you've shown your boundaries aren't real. This is why actions will always speak louder than promises. Many women, sometimes without even realizing it, pay attention to whether a man follows through on what he says. If you tell her honesty matters, then dishonesty should have consequences. If you tell her respect matters, then disrespect should also have consequences. Otherwise, they lose their value. This doesn't mean becoming controlling or looking for.
And that goes back to a couple of months or so ago. I was listening to one of my, I think one on Candy Cane stream, and it was talking about. Folks hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit.
Yeah. She was talking about forgiveness, and I said to my thing was forgiveness is just when you forgive somebody, that just gives them another line to cross. That just gives them another barrier to cross. Forgive ain't for me. It's not for me.
And
you might forget about what you said.
I'm a firm believer that every relationship always starts off good, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain levels of ditches that a relationship can fall in. And once it falls into those ditches, it don't matter what you do. The relationship is always going to be that. Once people know what they can get away with you for, they're going to keep doing it. And that works on both sides.
True.
That's absolutely. I agree with wholeheartedly. You see several men talking about, I'm not going to tolerate that disrespect. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Another prime example, or mention is Anton and Corey. There's no way that I would have been on the 5150 show and let Corey on me like that. Absolutely no way.
I got to watch that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'm seeing it, man.
Oh yeah, you didn't see it. This some months ago when Anton Daniels and Corey walked into it. Anton told Corey that he yeah, but Corey walked up on him. Now
when he
me,
supposed to be smashing her on trips with
yeah, all of that. But again, some folks call Anton Daniels a high value man. How is he a high value man walking around with another woman when he got married? When he married with a child at home, he in a hotel room with another woman. Is that a high value man? No, it's not.
Well, they both was married,
no, it's
so
not.
I guess.
I mean,
But-
yeah,
but so-
I'm gonna play
right.
devil's advocate here. Like, I'm gonna just play devil's advocate because I don't believe in having more than one woman. But even in the Bible, Abraham had more than one woman. Jacob did, Isaac did, Joseph did. You know, most kings
Yeah,
did.
but-
I'm
Bro,
just
let me
saying.
let me break something down to you. All right, yeah, that was in the Bible, and that would never fly today.
It won't.
But the truth of the matter is that what a lot of women don't understand is that there are more women than there are men. To be born a man is like picking the big straw or the big toothpick out of the bunch, and God say, "Okay, you can be a male," because the majority of babies born are females, and there are more females running around here than there are males. And then the females want to control males. But look, when you look at stuff like in the Bible, and I'm not advocating none of this, okay? But I'm just pointing out the obvious. When you look in the Bible, those guys had multiple wives and multiple kids. Like for real. And that was because of the way that it works. And it's not just with people, it's with animals, insects, everything. You look at a bee colony, look at an ant colony. The ones that you see are females.
Most of the workers are females. So there's only
I
a
mean,
few drones in there.
real. The female is the most dominant on the earth, period. But I'm not advocating that, you know what I'm saying, that men could not be one-on-one with women. But what I'm saying is that a lot of women has to understand that this is why if you got a cheating man, this is why, because there are more females than males, period.
Well, again, I got to play devil's advocate on this because I'm sure there's some ladies down in the lounge that's going to see this later on. They're going to say, well, "What was he talking about?" So I'm just going to put my mind in the thought of, okay, so you say that we outnumber men, women outnumber men, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if me as a woman, if I had to pick of the litter, shouldn't I be more choosy of who I'm picking?
Of course.
So that wouldn't that argument kind of be topsy turvy?
Wait, but
you see,
no. But the thing is, because if women outnumber men, then women don't have to pick of the litter.
Huh?
Like in the
yes,
U.S.
they do.
Well, if we're talking about numbers,
no, for real. I want you to think about something that Music said early in the conversation, right? About the bird.
Okay.
How the bird already had the nest, how the bird had more plumage, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? That means that male bird had to compete for a female.
Oh, we're talking about competing. Oh, yeah. The man competes for the woman. Yeah.
Yeah, we all listen. Let me tell you something. Like for real, we all compete for women in some shape, form, or fashion. And when you get a woman, it don't stop there because women, and this is nothing against the females. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But women are expensive. Women want to be wined. They want to be dined. They want to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's about money.
For men to hold that woman's attention, yeah, sometimes we have to do all that. Sometimes we have to go above and beyond just to keep a woman.
Right, of course, because I mean, just in your analogy that you said with this now, and I was speaking to my man earlier about it. we all of us men are in competition for females. I know some women don't like to use the word female, but men are in competition for the females. So I'm not gonna give you the one up to catch the female. You have to figure that shit out on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm not going. The game is not to be sold, but to be told. And I'm only going to pass the game on to certain members. Usually, it's going to be my nephews or my sons. I'm not going to pass the game on to how to be successful with a woman because number one, I'm never going to be in competition with my sons or my nephews for a woman.
Facts.
But I might be in competition with y'all. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, it's fair enough.
Right.
But,
so why would I give you the game to one up me?
well, so I mean, I don't think that any of these people are because they're not telling you like really how to make money. Besides, I think Fresh and Fit does a money something, but I don't think anyone's making money off of that.
No, it's all the Cash App super chat, super sticker, whatchamacallit. And it's obvious because you can there's an ebb and flow in the YouTube streets. That 1 minute this particular YouTube stream will be hot, and another instance this one will be hot, like the Fresh and Fish. Then you'll have the Anton Daniels, and you'll have the O'Shea Duke Jackson. Then you'll have the Angry Man, or then you'll have. It depends on what they're talking about. Usually, though, those guys, those content creators that stand out the most in this space that we have it, are those men that talk about the evils and the ills of one particular type of woman, black women.
Exactly. And guess who they attract?
More black women sometimes.
More black women.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you know what? No, but this is the thing. Like even when you pay attention to the music that they put on urban radio, how many songs have we listened to from the 80s all the way up until now that just disrespected black women? But you can play that song, and I'm a DJ, like for real. I'm a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go to I can DJ somebody function and play those same exact songs, and guess who the first ones to jump up and start dancing?
It's the black women.
Black women. So it's like the disrespect for black women is ingrained into a lot of black women. So I'm not saying that because I love black women. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. I love black women to death. But the truth is the truth. I see it. So I can be DJing, right? And I'm trying to think of a song that I could say that won't disrespect nobody too much. But
my neck, my back, lick.
Right. Right. And I even played that in the house version, like, cause a house DJ too. But I didn't play that in the house version.
Spin that shit.
On the floor.
Spin that shit. There's all kind. I mean, there's an argument to be said on both sides about the lyrics that we put out. And again, I'm gonna have to agree with India. Yeah, right. I'll agree with India Irie on this one. That music is one of the most powerful instruments on this earth. It really is.
But the problem with India Irie is that the culture is already set. Yeah. She represents a different part of the culture. You know what I'm saying?
They said that about C. Dolores Tucker too.
Older. No, but let me finish. An older part of the culture. Whereas, you know what I'm saying, female awareness, look, these little young girls, and I got 2 daughters, believe me. When I say my daughters is 21 and 18. And look, I don't even know this music, but sometimes I pull it up and they know every word to it. I'm like, damn, I ain't never heard you sing that song before, but they know it.
Right. I get exactly what you're saying. But again, I go back to my thing. Music is you and I both said we know that how powerful the music is that we present and that we play. Mm-hmm. But again, it's to me, music represents the society as a whole. And I'll go back to what India Ari said. We can't have songs that always glorify the ain't shitness in us. We got enough of that going on around. And I think people took what she said, just like C. Dolores Tucker back in the 80s. You know, they took her voice as being not the norm, in which it isn't, because everybody says, oh, it's just a song. But in a lot of cases, just a song, we again, look at what your babies is singing in the back seat.
And that's my point. But she's too little too late, because when you think about all the music, and I'm talking about from the 80s, we talking about from NWA, Ice Cube, I can name a whole bunch of people y'all probably never even heard of that was popular back in the day, but
y'all who
very disrespectful to women.
We got the Two Live Crew. We're talking about what's the name? Super Rhymes. A whole bunch of those early rap whatchamacallit. There's some what's her name? LaWanda Page had a album out that was good God. And y'all know who Aunt Esther is. Go and look up LaWanda Page and see the music that the albums that she put out. But again, right.
You want to go back,
right? It was more regulated then. It wasn't everybody could get a hold of it.
Right, you couldn't get a hold of it back then.
Right.
You know, so I think that in the late 80s, after the song Roxanne came out, you started seeing a whole bunch of records that came out. Boogie Boys with Fly Girl.
What's another one?
Even Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying? Right. He made some songs that didn't make Lottie Dottie. Right. When you think about Lottie Dottie, what was the whole point of that song? She was a crackhead.
Right, and again, what's that? The children's story was a story about a crackhead.
Story wasn't right.
Right, fellas. I'm gonna go get ready to wrap this up here. The storm's coming in. So I'll give you the last word that's said, and we'll move it around the board.
All right. Well, look, there's nothing wrong with being a high value man as long as you know your value. But it also takes for a woman to know a man's value as well. And values is not always measured in dollars and cents. It's measured in actions, intentions. You know, that's how I look at it.
Gotcha. And Ed, special Ed?
Yeah, I would say it just comes down to women don't really value much things in men nowadays. So that's why it comes down to money. But the real essence of a high value man is exactly what you guys have been saying. But that's where the disconnect is, that they don't value those things.
Gotcha.
You know what, Ed? Thank you, because I think that's what I was trying to say, but you said it a whole lot better.
Well,
no, I was listening. Yeah, I mean, we all basically agree on the same stuff, to be completely honest.
Yeah. And then again, to give up my closing thing here, I'll just go and look at this. And this relationship thing is on both sides. I know it seems that I was more focusing on the men, and that's why I decided to use the ladies. Because for me, the best way to learn about the object of affection is to find one that you can learn from. In this case, if I'm interested in women, of course, I would go to women. If I want to go to a library and I wanted to learn how to fix a car, I would go find a book on fixing cars. So again, in any relationship, if it's one-sided, if the one expectations are one-sided, if you have unnecessary toxicity in it, if you always bringing up past relationships or refusal on your basic morals, and always bringing up negative influences, if your friends around you always telling you you should leave that guy, or you as a man or woman have lack of accountability, or even in most cases it's the family. I don't like your mama, I don't like your sister, I don't like this person, I don't like that person, and that leads to how you deal within your relationship. So again, Thank y'all folks for tuning in. It's all relationships are based on you and him, or him and her, or her and you. Okay. As soon as you allow people to start giving advice, relationship advice, especially when it comes to you and yours, sometimes the relationship advice that you get could be toxic. So look at it for what it is. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so very much. Again, Raj, thank you so very much for stopping in. Jennifer, thank you so very much with your commentary. Who else we got over here? ABT, thank you for dropping in. Candy Cane Lane, Short Willie, Lana Love, thank you so very much. L Boogie, Hotel Boogie, Negro Damas. What about my Negro Damas? And all you other folks hanging out in the clouds. Chaos Rain, I see you dropping in there a little bit late, but we're about to end this up there. Again, folks, thank y'all so very much for hanging out there with me. I'm not sure if I'll be live tomorrow or not. I have to get out there and, as they say, do a little landscaping business. But until then, make sure you check out Dreadhead Said tonight. Said, tell them about what time you're going to be on.
Oh, I'm going to be on at 7 Central Time, 8 Eastern Time. I don't know if I'm going to do a R&B mix or if I'm just going to play straight through, but I'm definitely going to do something, and I'm going to play those classic 80s, 90s, 2000s. So be sure to check me out and tune in.
Oh yeah!
All right, that's Classic R&B Jams Radio there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, remember, the grace of day costs you absolutely nothing. Say hello to someone. Might change the way they're thinking, might change the way they're living. You never know. If you walk past them and don't say hello. With that, we up out here.
God bless.
Look, all you motherfuckers been snitching for him and shit. Now you standing up in here and goddamn it talking about preacher. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that. I'm gonna shoot your ass too, motherfucker. Keep on. You gonna get shot too, nigga. You gonna get shot. God bless the fool, goddammit. God bless the fool. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna end this goddamn thing. Look, where's that goddamn money bowl at? Who got that money bowl? We're taking that money right now before you leave this bitch. We ain't leaving out here for free, motherfucker. Yeah. Y'all know the motherfucker ain't no good. You want, look,